annual NBK draft party in Atlantic City. There'll be a live podcast, live DJ, live video shoot. $40 for a VIP ticket, $30 for draft night only. Get your tickets now.
Salute Knick family. This is Dope Soul Sports Talk, a member of the MBK Network. The draft is coming up June 23rd, as you just saw. We'll be having our second annual MBK draft party in Atlantic City. Hopefully you can join us. I'm counting down 9 more days, I believe it is.
Yeah. Word.
Yeah. So with the draft coming up, I want to talk about the draft prospects that may be available for the Knicks at the 11th pick. And I want to talk about whether or not any of them are as good as any players we have on our roster, better than any players that we have on our roster. I want to talk a little bit about draft philosophy. Do you believe in drafting the best player available? Or do you have some concerns about drafting over a player that you really believe in? And if this is a wing-heavy draft, and if that happens, we'll be drafting over a few of the wings we already have on the roster, unless there's some movement. So let's get into it. I'm joined by Jarrell and Sim. How you doing, fellas?
Salute, Queen. Salute, the Podfather. I know one thing. Speaking of the draft, Isaiah is in trouble. I just want to know that because Sim just told us he came from the gym. He got the guns out. It is over for you, Big Bubba. I got all my money on Sim, so let's get it. I can't wait.
I can't wait. Queen,
and you better show up, Isaiah, too.
Yeah, you better show up.
He gonna have to work that day. He gonna have to work. He gonna have to work.
Queen, Jarrell, it's a pleasure to be here. I can't wait until the draft party, man. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a great time.
Word.
Wait.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I heard today. Oh, sorry about that. I heard Evergreen on Blanche Tier said he's gonna be there. Jarrell announced yesterday that he's gonna, and these are two. I don't think Jarrell. I haven't met you in person, have I?
No. Not
right, and I haven't met Evergreen either. So this is gonna be good. And I think Uncle Freezy is gonna be there.
He said he's gonna try to be there. I haven't heard from him, to confirm it or not.
Crazy part is I was watching some of that show too. I didn't know Evergreen actually work out there too.
Yeah,
like he worked not that far from the flagship, so that's dope.
Yeah, he definitely did say that. All right, well, let's get into it. Let's start right at the top with Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson is headed for free agency. The Knicks have until June 30th to sign him. I haven't heard any peep out of the front office one way or another, any hint in terms of which way they are leaning. It's possible that they put their offer on the table and it's up to Robinson to see if he can beat it or accept it. I'm not sure what's going on. They've been keeping pretty much everything hush hush. But the question I have is, are you high on any of the centers in this draft? Doran, Mark Williams, anybody else? I think those are the only two at that 11th pick. And do you think they're as good as Mitch now, can be as good as Mitch? And if so, do you not sign Mitch and save that money? So what's your thoughts on the center position in the draft?
I'm the type of person that I think Mitch is not easily replaceable, but he could definitely be replaced. One of my favorite players in the draft is Jalen Duren, and he is my pick at 11 if he's on the board. So for me, that, if we don't sign Mitch, I'm cool, but obviously the draft is before free agency. So it'll kind of be like the writing is on the wall if we do pick a center at 11. Like if we pick one of the centers, whether it's Duren or Williams, you kind of know that Mitch is out of here.
Okay. That's true. That I think that's true. If they pick a center at 11, I mean that's a high pick.
Right.
That's a pretty high pick. 11, just out of the lottery, or just out of the top 10, not the lottery.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think that definitely the writing is on the wall, especially when you have Jericho Sims and you have Nerlens Noel. If you bring in another center, that means it's gone, and it might even mean that Nerlens Noel is gone too. Yes. They know that there's some kind of trade or something in the works for Nerlens Noel. So, I mean, how many centers do you need? that
We can't forget Taj. We can't forget Taj.
you know what I mean? So I mean,
ever ready, Todd.
Yeah, Taj. Can't forget him.
but Duran, man, he's really young,
Mm-hmm.
right? Super young. I don't know if he's the youngest in the draft, but
He
I don't
is.
think he turns 19 until August or something like that.
Right.
November.
He's the
Oh,
youngest.
November.
The
He's the
season
youngest.
will have started, and he will still
Wow.
be 18.
He's the youngest in the draft. 6'11", 250.
Yeah, man. I mean and he has a skill set. I mean, he has some skill sets. Let me
Right.
say that he has some skill sets to work with, or the tools. Let me say that
Right.
he has the tools to work with
Right.
to develop the skill sets. You know what I mean? So, I mean, he is a guy. I know we were talking last night about, or whenever it was, days seem to run together for me. I don't remember when I was. Maybe, yeah, maybe it was last night. I don't know, but we were talking about DeAndre Ayton, and Steph brought up that Duran, could end up maybe not being DeAndre Ayton, but being competent enough to be able to score in the post, score in the mid range, block shots, rebound, and give you a pretty competent center.
Right.
For cheap, because he'll be on that rookie contract.
Right, for cheap.
Yeah, salute to the chat too. I see Building Block said, I was gonna say this. Duran actually reclassified. That's why he's so young. He's actually supposed to be going into his freshman year in college. That's why he's so young. He reclassified in order to get in this draft.
So he reclassed up because a lot of players reclass
down. He reclassed up, and he's still 6'11", 250.
Okay.
Wow.
So last year, think about this. He was supposed to be a senior in high school.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah. Shout out to the chat. The centers aren't ready to start, but they can make the rotation.
Right.
This is
I don't
what
expect them to start. Yeah.
I don't expect them to start, but if by some fluke he had to, you can't tell me he can't get 8 points and 8 rebounds. Now I'm not gonna minimize what Mitch does, because I think what Mitch does is more than the stats, as well. He knows the rotations, he knows where he's supposed to be, and he's an elite offensive rebounder. So I'm not minimizing that, but statistically, you can't tell me he can't get 8 points and 8 rebounds. I think there'll be a lot of fouling, because with bigs it takes them a while to get acclimated. But at this point, I don't even want to re-sign Mitch. At this point, I just feel like get somebody cheaper in a year or two. Because look,
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to get too crazy on your show.
Right. Because I feel like we've seen Mitch. Now, I will say that Mitch came in raw, but in 4 years, I haven't seen I've seen some improvement in Mitch over the 4 years. Don't get me wrong, but I haven't seen a lot of improvement. These guys are starting at a higher floor, and I would think in 4 years, not even 4 years, in 2 years, they may be better than what Mitch. So I think we should just save the money. That's just what I'm thinking. Now, what that means for us next year, if we don't sign Mitch, I don't know if they're ready to start, whether it's Duran or Williams. I don't know if Sims is a starting material either, and I don't know whether Noel is going to be healthy. I did hear some news that the Knicks, Miles Turner is back on the block, and that the Knicks were interested. Do you believe that, or do you think that's just at this point of the year, this is what happens?
At this point, to be honest, I don't want him either.
Okay.
I would rather just draft a center, because the type of money we're going to have to give Miles Turner, I forgot what his contract is like, but
I think it's just 18, right? 18, 19, something like that.
Yeah, but that's more than what Mitch would get. At this point, at least I would think. I don't think we're going to pay Mitch that much if he did come back.
I don't think so.
So that means we would actually be paying more for that position, and I don't think he gives us that much more than Mitch, other than, spot up 3-point shooting.
That's big, though.
It is.
Given, RJ and Randall on this roster.
That's true.
Any thoughts, Sims? Would you just draft, if we're not going to sign Mitch, just draft a center at 11 other than trading for a Turner?
Oh wow. I think I would. If we knew that we were going to, and I know I just said something about Nerlens Noel, but because Nerlens Noel, if he was healthy, is an experienced center who can block shots, right? And it's played in the NBA. Uh, I wouldn't be afraid to take a chance on a younger center, and then trying to sign a point guard or whatever. We got wings, trying to sign a point guard in the off season or trade for an off season or whatever it is. Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to do that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to do that at all. But you're depending on Nerlens Noel and his skinny legs.
Right.
Skinny everything.
And not just that. The question is, can Sims man that position? Because
Right.
we talk about Noel's injury history. I think it's just a matter of time before whoever's behind him is going to have to step in and be pressed into duty. Can Sims start for the Knicks?
Well, let's just say this. Say Noel get hurt. I'm cool with Sims, Duran, and Taj, obviously. So if that's our 3-man rotation at the 5, I'm cool with that going forward.
How many games did Sims start this year? Did he start any?
I would maybe
I don't think so.
I think he started a few games down the stretch.
Right.
The end of the season.
Yeah, because at one
Did
point
Mitch close out the season?
No, Mitch had stopped playing too towards the end of the season. So I think Sims did play. I can look
started
it up
a few games. Shout out to Ivey. I don't know if I said that right. Oh my God. I can't believe what I just heard from Queen Steph. Get rid of Mitch after 4 years of severely underpaying. That will make the Knick organization look really appealing. You know what? I don't think that would have an effect on how the Knicks look.
I don't think so either.
I think, he played 4 years, and the Knicks have to make a decision at this point whether or not they want to pay him 12, 13, 14, 15, whatever it is. Teams make these decisions all the time.
Right.
That they think that they have a better value out there. So I don't think it's going to make the Knicks look bad. Do you agree or disagree? You think the Knicks will look bad?
I don't think they look bad. I think it'll look worse if we gave him a big contract and he doesn't prove that he earned it, like, going forward. I think it'll look worse than that. Because, like, Mitch is a second-round pick. It's not like we drafted him in the lottery. So I don't think it'll look bad on us at all if we let him walk.
Only thing I think would make us look bad is we let him walk without compensation. Like, we weren't forward thinking enough to trade him and try to get something for him.
Right.
I think that.
Right. But that ship has sailed. So, and that's the case. Yeah. Like, regardless if he's not on the team next year, then yeah, that'll look bad because of that.
Because of that, not because they decided to move on, but that they didn't get anything for him.
Right. I just looked up Jericho Sims. He started 5 games last year.
5 games.
Yeah.
So that was probably towards the end of the season, like you said.
Right. Okay, yeah. During the end of the season. Maybe it was those 5 games during the end.
Okay. Do you think the centers that's in this draft have a higher upside than Sims? Because there are some, fans who think that Sims is better than Mitch. And if we're not going to sign Mitch, then we should give Sims that opportunity and not draft over Sims. Any thoughts on that?
I think Sims is another second-round pick. Like, as a prospect, just as a prospect alone, he is not at the same level as Duran and Williams. Not right now, especially with age. So, no, I'm not saying that he can't be a starter, but yeah, like, he'll be their backup in a couple years if they get on this team.
Sims would their backup.
Yeah, I don't see him start. Like, say if we drafted Duran this year, 2 years from now, I don't see Duran still on the bench and Sims is our starting center.
Okay.
Let's just say that.
Yeah, I mean, stranger things have happened, but
sure.
I would agree. I would agree with you. I think, he can definitely burst out. Don't get me wrong, and go to the Hall of Fame like Ben Wallace did, right? but but if I
Right?
had to put
True.
my money on it, I would say that he's gonna be, a very good backup center, especially with his skills on the perimeter. I think he'll be in the league for a very long time.
Like
Um,
say, I think even as an age difference, right? I think Jericho Sims got to be like 5 years older than Jalen Duren.
Yeah.
Jericho Sims was in like he spent all 4 years in college, so he got to be at least 23, almost 24 years old at this point,
Right.
right? So
wow.
if
Yeah.
Jalen Duren is going to be 19 in the beginning of the season, then I don't view them as the same level of prospect just because of that.
Yeah. Pudge Nice says, shout out to Pudge Nice. Appreciate you rocking with us. Jericho's 24,
Oh,
six
see, yeah,
years.
Mm.
yeah, see, it's not. That's not the same. No, I wouldn't view them as the same. They shouldn't be.
Yeah. 24.
Yeah. I mean, it brings up another question, a little aside. What's the knock on older players? Is it that the older they are, that means that they can't develop any further? Is it that the older they are, if they didn't develop um, so much up to this point, what are the chances that they'll be able to do it after?
Right.
What's your thoughts on on that? Or it shouldn't even be a factor.
I think it's a factor because at some point, like the younger you are, the more you can be trained, right? To play a certain style that maybe the coach or whoever wants you to play. But the more you can be trained and groomed, um, the older you are, the more you're kind of into your habits, and it becomes harder. Now you have to break certain habits to retrain new habits. So I think that's the appeal with a guy that's 18 years old coming out of college. It's like a white canvas. You know what I'm saying? You can still help that guy develop correctly, where you have someone who's 24 years old, they might be kind of stuck with what they do. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I think and then at some point you get to a point. I mean, I guess at 24, you still have a while to go before your physical abilities stop growing. But at some point, your speed, your strength, all of those things stop growing.
Right.
Hmm.
And now you have to rely on just your basketball knowledge, because that's always going to grow, right? So you rely on your basketball knowledge. But so when you get someone that's 24 years old, they're closer to that time when their physical abilities are going to stop. You're not going to get faster or stronger anymore. So I
Right.
think that's really what it boils down to when you're talking about younger versus someone who's a little bit older.
My example would be like we always talk about like free throw shooting could be like the proven floor ceiling when it comes to touch and shooting the ball, right? So if Mark Williams is 19, 20 years old, coming out of college shooting above, like shooting in the 70s in the free throw, and Jericho Sims is 24 years old shooting 41% from the free throw line, like what am I supposed to do with that?
Right.
Like what? Like how can I, going forward? Not saying that he can't get better, but going forward, if he's still shooting 40% from the free throw line, how am I supposed to put him above somebody like Jalen Duren and Mark Williams when it comes to that part of the game, like shooting the ball? Like I can't put him as up there with them when it comes to that, but just because of his age.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, um, I get it. I mean, what I would say though is if you're an upperclassman and your game is developed in a really good way and you don't really have that much to add, I'm good with drafting um a older player or or upperclassman, because a lot of times with the younger players, they may have the highest ceiling, but they may or may not reach it. I think the problem becomes when you have an upperclassman who's 22, 23 years old, and they still have a lot that they need to work on. I think that becomes more of an issue. So anything else about the center position? um I'm okay with the Knicks taking a center, and I get it that you can get value at center later on
That's what I was
in the
going to ask.
draft. Yeah, and that the chances of a center becoming a star in the NBA is really not that high. But
Mm-hmm.
when I just look at this particular roster,
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the reasons, and we'll talk about him later, that I like Dyson Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
In a vacuum, these other guys are probably better. But when you look at what he can bring to our team, that's what raises him up for me. And that's kind of what I'm thinking when it comes to Doran as well.
Quick question. Say if we not lose out, but say if we pass on somebody like Doran or Williams, right, and get one of the wings that we like, whether it's Ben Mathurin if he falls, or Daniels or somebody like that, but we trade up into the first round and get like a Kai Soto or a Coloco from Arizona. Are you happy with that?
Okay.
Because I would be happy with that too.
So like a Davis and a Coloco versus a Doran and a whatever wing you can
Right,
get.
down there. Or if we might not even trade back up, and like, it seemed like the only reason we would trade back up, maybe not the only reason, but if we did, since we didn't get a center at 11, if Kai Soto is sitting there like in the 20s, then you come up and get him.
He'll be sitting there in the 20s.
Okay.
Well, I
he
don't
won't
know.
be in the 40s though. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he'll be in the 40s. I don't think he gets if he gets out of the first round, he won't get like, I just don't think he's going to reach 42.
Right.
I think that's out the window.
Listen, if we don't get a center at 11, which I'm totally fine with, and we come out of this draft with one of those wings and Coloco, I'm happy.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, say if we did get, say we got the teammates, say we get, Coloco and Ben Mathurin, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm definitely
shoot. I'm fine with Ivey and Williams if you want to talk about teammates, but that's another, that's another conversation too. That's my perfect combination when it comes to college teammates.
What's Williams talk about? Oh,
yeah,
Travion.
Him and
they both went to Purdue.
Yep, they went both with the Purdue. That's why everybody knows that Ivey wasn't a point guard, because if you actually look at actually watch them play, Williams was the playmaker on that team at the center position. It wasn't Ivey.
Yeah. There's the other guy we talk about, Coloco and Mathurin, and I'll talk about him next week on the Queen's Court. He's not a traditional point guard. What's his name?
You talk about the other dude on Arizona?
Terry.
Yeah, he's not a point guard now. He played a 2 and a 3. He another wing.
He played the 2. He played the 2 and the 3. Okay.
He can.
He's 6'7" though. I like him,
and he does have playmaking skills. I like him too. Yeah. I just know, the reason I don't really talk about him, because I know we wouldn't get him at 11.
No.
And he wouldn't reach us at 42 either. So he's like in the pocket that would be like at the, end of the lottery or in the 20s somewhere that we were not going to be able to get him.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's move on. I'm gonna save that wing position because it's loaded. Let's talk about the power forward position. I think it's the same question. Are you okay with drafting over power forwards we already have in Randall or Obi, or do you believe that competition is good? If the power forward that's there is the best play available, Doran is off the board, the wings that we like is off the board, take them. Or do you not believe in drafting over?
I don't believe in draft. Well, the power forwards that are in the draft that we should draft are not attainable for us. No, they're like 3 of the top 5 players in the draft are all power forwards.
Right.
So I don't think any of them is going to reach 11, obviously. So who we drafted at power forward at 11? Somebody like, if you're going to count like Jeremy Sohan as a power forward, or Eason, if that's the case, then no, I don't want to draft either one of them if they're going to be behind Randall and Obi. Like, I don't think they're going to get any minutes, and if they do, I don't know what they would add to the team if they're going to be the third string power forward if you're going to draft them at 11.
Well, let me play devil's advocate.
Okay.
We got a host of wings.
Mm-hmm.
But we bringing in we don't have a problem bringing in wings in this wing heavy
That's the
draft,
thing.
and we're going to be drafting over some
Right.
of our guys. What's the difference? And I'm playing devil. I kind of
Mhm.
know the answer. What's the difference in terms of doing that at the power forward position versus
For
having no
me,
problem doing it at the wing position?
I guess I have no problem at the. It's not that I don't have a problem with the wing position, but like you said, is closer. You'll be easier to find a start at the wing position. So it's just by the law of averages, you should be drafting more wings than centers.
Right.
But to me, that's why Jalen Duren is my number one on the board.
Because you don't want to draft a wing
I don't
over the
want to
wings
draft.
we have.
No,
Oh, okay. Wow.
I don't want to
Okay.
draft a wing unless it's somebody like Ben Madden. Like he's my number one wing. So
Right.
if he falls to us at 11, and I don't think he's going to, then yes, I will be happy. And we would just, the chips would just have to fall where they may. I think Cam will be in trouble, but it just is what it is. But if that's why Jalen Duren is my number one on the board, just because I think Mitch is going to walk.
Okay.
Hmm.
Sam, your thoughts at the power forward
Yeah.
position?
I think it feels to me like that position, at least in the Knicks' mind, is kind of set.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Probably looking at Randall to say, what's he gonna do this year? And then you got a guy in Obi that is ready to jump into that spot in the event that Randall's not doing, they move on from Randall or whatever. And even if that were to happen, they moved on, and then Obi is there. You still got that power forward like a Eason, maybe competing with Cam Reddish.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Who can play power forward. So yeah, I just think, even though it seems like the wing is more of a glut, it seems like the power forward position is kind of set.
Or if
starting and backup, at least right now.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Even at 11, right? Say if we did draft a power forward, it would have to be somebody like completely different than Obi and Randall. It would have to be somebody that, like Tibbs, would be comfortable at playing at the small ball 5 or something. Because he seems like he's not comfortable doing that with either, Obi or Randall. It would have to be somebody that adds something different to the team.
I agree. Yeah.
If it's just going to be another scoring power forward, then no. Like, what's the point? I don't see it. That's bad roster construction to me.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm not that high on Sohan and Eason either.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they bring the same thing. I think they're more defensive, switchable type guys, which is very different than what we have in Obi and Randall. Even though I think Randall has the potential to play defense, I think it's just, I don't know, maybe it's just too much for him to play both ends with the load that he feels he has to carry.
That's why he got the abs now, Steph. That's why he put
All
the
right.
picture
Well,
up.
all right. Let's see if he's in shape and he's able to play both ends. I mean, I don't have a problem drafting over a guy because I think competition is good. We drafted IQ. He beat out Frank. He beat out Dennis Smith Jr. So I'm all for competition. I just don't particularly like those two guys. But if there was a power forward that I really liked, I wouldn't have no problem drafting them. And that's on the front office now in training camp. If this guy beats out who you already have, so what you're gonna do? You're gonna trade one of them. You're gonna just sit the guy on the bench. What are you gonna do? But these particular guys, Eason and Sohan, I'm not that high.
Yeah,
I'm not that high. I just think we can get better prospects at the 11th position.
Yeah,
with the 11th pick. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, I agree as well, 100%.
Yeah. Somebody said, no, that wasn't it. E. Gibson, a player like Eason or Sohan can guard multiple positions but need to develop offensively. Yeah.
That's true.
They do. And I just like the wings and the centers in this draft better than I like those two guys. Staffer,
Especially
how
at
are you?
11.
Especially at 11.
I'm blessed. Sorry for the lateness.
Oh, it's okay. Okay.
Shout out to the panel, Godfather Sim, Jarrell, Queen, the chat. Salute, man. So what's going on? What's cooking?
Everything is good. We're talking about the draft prospects and how they measure up with players we already have, and what do you think about drafting over those guys, bringing in even more competition? Or, do you believe, if you believe in a guy, don't draft somebody at the same position. Let that guy, continue to develop. Let me put this trade up here. I didn't even read it. It just seems like a lot. Jeremy Nosbaum, appreciate you. Julius Randle, Emmanuel Quickly, Evan Fournier, 11th Dallas pick, 2023 first round pick, 2024 first round, second round.
Oh, no. You ain't got to finish that. No.
Hey, Jeremy, chill out, man. Chill.
If it ain't for Luca, for Miles Turner, Malcolm Brogdon in the 6th pick, I think that's
man. That's two injury prone players.
Way too much.
11th pick.
Yeah.
Too much.
Dallas 23rd first round pick. The Knicks.
I mean, that's what they should be giving us for Randall.
That's 3 first round picks, Fournier, Quickly, and Randall.
Nah, that's like
and a 2nd round pick.
Nah, that's like with that package, they should be we should be just giving up Randall and maybe, I don't know, a pick or something. Like Randall is almost worth more than that. Like you talk about 2 players that barely play. And Indiana knows it too.
Plus the 6th pick, which is a swap because you're giving up your 11th.
Giving up 11, so.
Yeah.
Jeremy better go back to the trading board with that one.
He's from Indiana.
JJ said, if we trade for Brogdon, I might give up.
Yeah, like Brogdon, man, like he barely plays. Like if everybody involved was completely healthy, it's a completely different story. But I don't want Malcolm Brogdon.
Right, if completely healthy. Randall and 11 to Kings for Barnes, and I don't think that would get it.
Nah, that won't get it.
But if it did, would you do it?
Yes, because that means we're getting Jaden Ivey and Harrison Barnes. Yeah, that works perfect for us.
And 11 to Kings for Barnes and the 4th.
Yeah, I do that.
Nah,
I think that's a little bit. That's too little.
Not doing that.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I don't think.
I'm saying I would do it. The Kings not doing that. No.
Yeah, the Kings not doing it. Sohan and Eason will be better than both those centers in 2 years. Listen, if they develop their offensive game to be equal to their defense, they might be, because it is a wing. It is a wing. Dominated league.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what you're betting on,
right?
That's what you're betting on. And Eason, he's not a freshman, right?
Nah, neither one of them are freshmen. I don't think. I have to look, but yeah, I don't think Eason is a freshman.
I mean, I always have concerns if you're a 3rd-year player or a 4th-year player and you haven't developed it yet. I just feel like you're going to develop it now.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it's possible.
Yeah, he's 21. Yeah, he had 2 years in college. He went to Cincinnati and had 1 year at Cincinnati, transferred, then had 1 year at LSU. So he's 21. He's coming out as a sophomore.
Hey, somebody say Eason is another Clay Anthony.
Oh.
Another who?
Clay Anthony Early.
Clay Anthony Early.
I ain't heard that name in a minute,
Yo. Oh man, I just got here and oh my God.
All right, let's get into the wings, because
okay.
I think some things will change now in terms of drafting over people. So I'm gonna see what the panel have to have to say. So we already know who we got at the wing. We got RJ, we got Cam, we have Burks, we have Fournier, we have Grimes, and that's 5 right there. I'm not going to even include Quickly, who can also play the off guard.
Why it seem like you forgot somebody?
Did I?
The other young man, the other little point guard from West Virginia. What's his name?
Nick Bride, but I don't consider him a wing. I don't consider him a
rotation.
Yeah.
No. I don't consider him a wing.
A wing.
So when I look at the wings that might be available at 11, AJ Griffin, Branham, Johnny Davis, Mathurin, are any of those guys better than or just as good as the players we have on our roster? And you guys don't have any problems drafting over the guys we already have?
Wow.
Ben Mathurin is probably the only wing, I should say, that I would be comfortable with, and he will get minutes next year.
I agree.
Johnny Davis, like, don't get me wrong, I like his game, but if we have Quentin Grimes on the team, I'm not saying that the position, it would be kind of redundant, but I don't see him cracking the rotation if Grimes is still giving up the defense.
And I'm a Grimes fan. And
I think Johnny Davis can do, I don't know. I mean, matter of fact, I'm actually supposed to have Quentin Grimes trainer on soon.
Nice.
So,
and I'm talking about for what Tibbs want him to do.
But I actually really like Johnny Davis. I really like his game. I do. I think he's. I think he's smooth. I like that he's got body control. I like his shot selection.
So at the 2,
I mean,
who he playing over?
If me personally, I would play him over. I'm not playing him over Fournier now.
Yeah, of course, I know that, but
after when Fournier's contract is up, he might have that spot. And Fournier might be on the move. You know what I'm saying? I give him a couple of years to marinate,
and Grimes will still be on the bench.
Maybe. I mean, they'd have to battle it out, but that'd be a nice battle.
In my perfect world, RJ would be our 2 guard, though.
Okay.
I would rather RJ move back to the 2. I don't like him as a 3.
Okay.
So
even at 6'7"?
Yeah, because even like, I don't know, like with his, I think he could take advantage of 2s more on offense and defense. And I think if we have somebody like Cam, or if we get somebody like Ben, he can be the 3 or somebody else. But I would rather have, like in my perfect world, if RJ would be our starting 2 guard, not our starting 3. I would rather have him be at the 2.
Because you think he would have an advantage over other 2s as opposed to small forwards.
Just by strength alone and size, like RJ, if he played the 2, him going downhill all game, like I can just see that. But if he has to deal with 3s all game, I think it will take away from his game a little bit more than if he was moved to the 2.
And shout out to RJ. Happy birthday to him too.
Yeah, happy birthday, RJ too. Word up. I forgot it was his birthday today. I just think that's his natural position.
Right.
Okay.
I say draft the best possible guard and let them fight it out in training camp, and you make your moves from there. I think it's hard from a chair to look at somebody playing in college and say for sure this guy is not. Well, sometimes you can, but I think at the 11th spot, I mean, you look at those guys. Can we say for sure that Grimes is better than any of those guys?
For sure, no.
I mean, right? I've seen some workouts with Grimes the past couple days, and he's been looking real good. He's been working on his game.
I saw it too.
Trust me, they bring out that competition. It's going to be a competition.
Right.
Trust me when I tell you that he's been working with, I think it's Penny Hardaway.
Right. I saw him with Penny. I was like, okay, Grimes.
Yeah. So Grimes. So
I mean, if he's putting the ball on the floor, he's gonna make it harder.
He is.
Yep.
He is. He's putting the ball on the floor.
Yeah.
But in terms of like Sim said, in terms of like, say if we did draft Johnny Davis, Grimes will still not probably ever be better than him at that.
It's Sherman, the height police. Please stop it, Steph. RJ is not
Yo, I need
6'7".
Sherman. You coming to the
What he say?
Sherman need to come to the
He
draft,
said
yo, because I need him to
the
measure me.
height
Like
police.
I'm 6'4", but I'll
He said
probably like
RJ is not.
6'1" and a
I could
quarter.
have swore I saw somewhere that he grew an inch and that he's 6'7".
Yeah, I thought
I thought he was always 6'7".
I think he was 6'6" coming out of high school and he grew an inch.
Yeah. I don't think he's 6'6". When you look at him, I seen him like next to Tatum. He didn't look all that,
Right. Whether
that
he's
much shorter.
6'6" or 6'7", he's not short. Like
Right.
he's not like he's 6'4". Like he's definitely taller than that.
Right. You got to be careful. You put a height out there, Sherman coming at you.
Is it Sherman that's always like Sherman, not Sherman. It's
Sherwin. Sorry,
Is
Sherwin.
he
Yeah.
always the one that's like, why do we keep drafting these 6'5" guys? Every time every time we look in the we talk about wing players, another 6'5" guy. I don't know if it's Sherman or somebody else.
I don't think it's him. Nah, I don't think it's him. I think it's somebody else.
Yeah.
You talk about height, he's coming for you.
Yeah.
Right.
No shoe.
and not just from the internet, because he saw him at the movie theater in his neighborhood.
That's why I said I want Sherman to get to the draft, yo. Because I'm kind of tall, man, but he probably gonna knock me down at least by 6'1.5". Like he Jarrell ain't that tall.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen. Grimes, he's working on his handle, his in-between game. That would be great. Because in terms of his defense, in terms of his shot making, I'm pretty high on that. But it's that in-between, it's that in-between game. So if he's working on that, okay, fine. Cam, we already know about Cam. He has all the skills. It's just more about him being aggressive and just taking it.
Right.
Then we got Fournier, who's a veteran.
I don't
Burks,
know.
I'm not even counting. I mean, Burks might be here, but yeah, I mean, the Knicks are gonna have, if they draft a wing, it's gonna be crowded. I'm okay with it. I think one of these guys can be better than what we have.
I think that wing might beat out Fournier though. I honestly think so. Without the rumor that Mark Berman said Fournier might get traded on draft night, we go ahead and we draft a wing or a guard or whatever. He might be the odd man out, even though he could shoot the three. You know what I mean? We still need somebody to defend. And put the ball on the floor and not just stand up in the corner all the time. So I think that position might be the position we could go for, and trade Fournier off of that contract.
Well, let me ask this question, Sam. Any of these wing prospects you think is better than Fournier? And if so, do you think they're better than Fournier right now? They could take his rotation spots, or you see somebody that in a few years could be better than Fournier?
I actually think in a few years Johnny Davis would be better than Fournier. Ben Mathurin, right? Better than Fournier. Let me see who else we got up there.
AJ Griffin and Branham.
Will Branham be better than Fournier?
A 3-level scorer.
Only thing with me personally, I don't think. See, I'm not really down on Fournier. I think we just don't use him like we should. I don't think Fournier is a bad player.
No, I don't think he's a bad player either.
I think he's pretty good. I think we just don't use him. Like I want him to come off screens more and move around more.
But I feel like these guys would have more ability to go off the dribble than Fournier. Right.
True.
It's Fournier
right.
To go off the dribble.
True.
You notice a lot of times when he does get in a situation where he has to dribble, he might turn it over or get stuck with the ball. I feel like those guys, I don't know if they'll be as quick of a shooter as Evan Fournier as far as being able to catch the ball and get it up in the air really quick.
AJ Griffin, maybe.
Maybe. But I think they'll be able to put the ball on the floor a little bit better. But those guys still can knock down the three.
Right. Old head wanted to know, Jarrell, Are any of the wings better than Cam?
Better? No. And we just gonna talk about talent, then no. None of them would be drafted over Cam to me if they all came out at the same time as a prospect. Will they but the question is, are they going to be better players moving forward? That's a completely different question. Like better, quote unquote better is a kind of loaded, like
Right. So do both. Are they better now? Do you see anybody that's better now? Do you see anybody that's potentially better down the line?
nah, I don't think they're better. The only thing not the only thing, like it's not a huge factor, but Cam's motor and his assertiveness is kind of the only thing really holding him back. So I wouldn't say better, no. But can one of them take his spot if he's not motivated? Absolutely. Especially Ben Mathurin. I think Ben Mathurin, if we drafted Ben, I think Cam would be in trouble. He's out of here.
Wow.
Mhm.
Like this
Johnny
year
Davis
or in
is
a
a
few
different-
years?
Well, he only got 1 year left on his contract, so hopefully it would be this year. Like we would want to trade him this year, not
Yeah.
next year, right?
Right.
Because his
Before we would have to sign him.
right before we would have to sign him. Like I would get rid of Cam now if we draft Ben. Davis is a different story because he plays the two. You know what I'm saying? His game is a little different. So I think Ben Mathurin he posed way more of a threat to Cam, just like Johnny Davis would pose a threat to Grimes.
But they both 6'6" though.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
and
they both run.
any concerns about having 6'6" wings at the 2 or the 3 or not really?
I think it's interchangeable.
Yeah.
I think it's just the way you play.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
And Jarrell, to your point too, it will be a business move too. You know what I mean? As far as the Cam situation, we putting somebody in a rookie contract and getting rid of a Cam to sign him for how much whoever he gonna want. So this plays basically a business move too.
Yep, that makes sense. Like I already said before, like I said in a couple of shows before, we can't expect all our young players to pop and they all play the same position. All of their contracts is going to be up at the same time.
Right.
That's just naturally not how it's going to work. So it's going to be more than one of these dudes have to go. Maybe even two of them. Like they have to.
I think
if you want to get them minutes.
Right, because I think the question is, are you moving out players for them without even seeing them in training camp? Like, are you moving out players even before training camp starts to create room for them? I guess it depends on who we get.
Right.
But you would think whoever you get at 11 is going to be talented.
Right.
That's true. Right.
You know?
So I guess the only person we really see, again, like the only person we would be fearful of that happening is probably Cam.
Yeah.
I'll throw in Burks too. Burks could move too.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he can, but I don't fear him. Like he already has the trust of the coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't fear a roster spot for Burks. Like, yes, we could get rid of him, but if we draft Ben Mathurin, I think I'm more fear of Cam leaving than Burks, if that makes sense.
Right.
Just because of the contract and his age and stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, I think what would help, and we're not going to know this, is what direction are the Knicks, going in? Are they open to trading off Burks and Fournier? Because if they do that, then it's not even, there's enough playing time to go around,
right.
Even with the 11th pick. But if they're gung-ho on making the playoffs and getting stronger as a team and keeping Fournier and keeping Burks, putting him back in his position off the bench, where's this 11th pick going to play?
Right.
He would have to beat out, I don't even know who, because Grimes may not even be in the rotation if Rose is back.
Right. I was trying to tell everybody that before, like, all these players are still here. Like, I know we want them gone, people like, Fournier and Burks and stuff, but they're still on the roster. So as long as they're still on the roster, like if Johnny Davis say we do pick Johnny Davis, where is he going to play if Alec Burks is at the 2, Grimes is at the 2, Fournier is at the 2? Like, we keep on forgetting people like Burks. He's not going anywhere.
Well, Burke's gonna come off the bench, and he's probably my You know what? You're right.
He come off the bench, he's going to get minutes at the 2.
You're right. I'm just here thinking about it now. Oh wow.
Like, Johnny Davis will have to beat out Burks and Grimes.
Right.
Yeah.
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 And that would be any of the wings.
Right, exactly.
Any of them would have to.
The only, in my opinion, the only advantage Davis probably have is probably his defense.
You think his defense is better than Grimes? Maybe because he's an inch taller.
I think we will have to find out, because this ain't Wisconsin.
Yeah.
That's where I get cooked by one of them 2 guards in the league. Like, we're not playing we don't play in the Big Ten. So don't get me wrong, I think he is a good defender, but I want to see him defend in the NBA before I say he's just better than people.
Yeah, we've seen Grimes defend.
Right. We've seen Grimes defend.
Exactly.
Mm.
We ain't playing Michigan on the first game. You might mess around and get cooked by somebody.
That's a big thing, man. You know, I say it all the time. All these players coming into college, everyone, everyone talks about what they can and can't be, who their ceiling is, and this and that.
Right.
You just don't know how a player is going to react until they actually get in the league. They could get in the league and all of a sudden their chest starts beating feet, and they didn't even know what was going to happen. It just starts happening, and all of a sudden they lost their confidence. You just never know what it's going to be like once they actually step out there in the big league.
That's why I hold pause, or don't. Not saying I don't hold these type of players, in high regard or whatever, on my board or whatever. But like you said, Jeremy Shohan and Eason, when they get in the league and get cooked? Yeah. Like, what happens? Like, we have to wait for their offense too.
But I mean, listen, even with these wings we talking about, we don't really know. Like, when I look at Branham, he looks so smooth with the way he's able to get his shot. His shot is so smooth as well. He's fluid. How do we know he's not going to struggle when he gets to the league? Like, we just don't know.
Right.
We just don't know. Mathurin, what if he struggles? Like, you just don't know. I mean, listen, for every player in this draft, there's something that they need to work on. There's no complete players coming out of this draft.
Right.
And so the question becomes, who are you betting on that they're going to develop the skill they need to develop to become a star? Like, who are you betting on that if this guy does this 1 or 2 things, he's going to really reach his ceiling? I remember we was talking about Okoro last year. Was it last year or the year before?
Year before.
Year before. He's just one jump shot away. The way he plays defense, if he could just develop that jump shot, he's going to be and it hasn't happened.
Right.
So when I'm looking at these guys, I'm like, who has the least holes? They only got to work on like maybe 1 or 2 things to become a star. If you got a long list of things that you need to do, like what I see Sohan and Eason, I'm like, got to shoot the 3. Now they got to come off the dribble. They got to, that's a lot.
That's why when you was talking about age, that's why age has a big part to do with it. Because
if you have a lot to work on.
Yeah, right. If you have a lot to work on, like Jalen Duren is only 18 and the youngest person in the draft. So the stuff that he has to work on, he has time before you have to, get suspicious of him not being able to improve that stuff.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And listen, he hit it. He faced up and hit that jump shot. That might have been his only jump shot all season. When I saw him hit that jump shot, I said, "Oh, okay, all right. We can work with it. We just gotta work with him on it."
That's why when I was telling you, like, people were saying that he's just like another rim runner and he's another Mitchell. Like, no, he's not. He has, skill to actually face up and have a little touch on the basket. He can post up, go with either shoulder. He can do a lot, and he can play make a little bit. Like, and he's only 18, so.
I've been screaming that kid, man. I like him. I like him a lot.
All right. So, as far as this segment is concerned, we think Matherin is pretty much the only one who has a shot to be able to come in and, let's not even say start, beat
Oh
out
no,
one
not
of these
start,
other
bro.
wing players and get into the rotation.
Yeah, I don't think none of them starting.
Right.
Right. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess maybe if you want to put Dyson Daniels in the wing guard category too, because to me he's not a point guard, at least not yet.
Now I know when he interviewed or when he worked out for the Knicks and interviewed afterwards, he said that the Knicks would want him at point guard. I guess that's where they put him during the workouts.
I heard that, but you know what? I didn't hear how it went.
Right. That's true.
So I don't care what he said. Like, yeah, okay, they wanted you at the point. How did the workout go? Like, since we don't know that, I'm just going by what I see in like the clips that I saw, the couple G League games that I saw him actually play like whole games.
Mm-hmm.
To me, he's not a point guard. Like he wouldn't just come in and be our starting point guard. I just don't see it. Like he's too robotic. I think you would probably play him at the wing, and he's just can make from that position, and he's just a versatile defender. But when it comes to like offensive game, he really don't have that much of it.
Like Ben Simmons,
right?
Playmaking from the wing or from the forward.
He could shoot better than that, though.
Yeah.
And probably Ben is probably a better defender than him just because he's so big. But yeah, I could see that as a good comparison. Like he would look for to make more than his shot, but he's not a point guard though. He'll still be on the wing and guarding wings too.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things Gmo pointed out in his video, and shout out to Gmo, was his ball handling. Like it's just really just straight up and down. It's not a lot of shiftiness to it. Just really going in one direction. So I think if he is to become a point guard, and I think he has that potential, that ball handling has to get tighter and has to get better.
I know people complain about RJ, not having no sauce to his game or moves. You really gonna be pissed at Dyson Daniels then. If he's gonna have the ball in his hand all the time, yeah, he ain't gonna do nothing flashy or anything like that.
Me, I'm just like, I just want him to get the job done.
Right.
Exactly. That's how I feel too.
I'm just talking about what people complain about. You know what I'm saying?
Like he's not gonna be a LaMelo Ball.
Right.
No.
Right. No, he's not gonna do that.
No. But he also won't be Frank Ntilikina either, though. He'll be somewhere like in the middle. Like he's not going to. He ain't that robotic. He'll be somewhere between that. You know what I'm saying? Like he ain't gonna be Frank either. So I hope people don't think that. Like I don't want to, completely down his sauciness, but it's somewhere in the middle between it.
But okay, for Dyson though, what does he have to do to be an effective point guard for us? Like, does he have to be a LaMelo Ball type, or can he just be somebody that's defending the position? He's bringing the ball down. He's initiating our offense. He has some vision now. It's not like he can't pass and he doesn't have playmaking vision. I mean, I think he could play it for us. I don't know if he would be, like you're saying, maybe he wouldn't be a high level. I think the question is with his ball handling. I guess I'll ask this to Sim because Sim did a breakdown tape. Do you think his ball handling would be a disadvantage in terms of people guarding him?
See, I don't. Right. I mean, I know he does. He's not going to break you down and do those type of things. But I think he's competent enough to protect it and get past his defender when he needs to.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm really concerned about. At times you need some of those things, if you're really going one-on-one to break down a defender. But I feel like his smarts will help him to be able to, get by and make a play anyway. And it may not always be a scoring play, but make a play. I do think that he's I think he could run the position. Again, it doesn't have to be I don't know if he has to be your straight up Chris Paul type of guy, you know what I mean? But Tom Thibodeau doesn't run his point guards like that anyway.
I was about to say the exact same thing.
You know what I mean? I think it's more, does he have the facilitation skills to be able to make decisions out there on the floor, be able to take the ball out of players' hands, Julius Randle's hands, even relieve it from RJ, because he was doing some of that towards the end of the season, and kind of let that rely on him. And I think he has strong enough handle where he can do it competently. He can get the ball up the floor even against pressure, and even if pressure is coming, like Tibbs always says, don't fight pressure with pressure. I think he's smart enough to get the ball to an outlet person, and let's get this thing going up the floor.
I don't think he's going to be in the G League, even if you don't.
He was cooking in the G League this year, and he was only 18.
Yeah, Queen, I like the other comment from building blocks.
You can hide. You probably won't be able to highlight it, right?
We can't highlight it.
Okay. Where is it? Near the bottom. We need players.
No, right. He said no, not that one. It was right before the one where he said his defense. Yeah.
I mean, but that's what I was actually going to get at. Like, even though you asked me if he's a point guard for me, to me, I don't think he would be a point guard for me. But just like Mark was talking about last night, we was talking about fit.
Mm-hmm.
Dyson Daniels might be the perfect fit for us at point guard, just because how, like Sim said, how Tibbs run his point guard. With our offense, Dyson Daniels might be perfect for that.
Right. But this is the question I have. Can he get into the lane, draw the defense, and kick out to shooters?
See, I asked myself that same question, but then you have to go with did Burks do that?
That can't be the
But it has to though, because he's still our coach. So I have to say that.
That can't be the
like, you got to think about. So if we draft Dyson Daniels, right? It's either going to be Dyson Daniels. Well, Rose.
I mean, I think he could do what Burks. But see, I don't think he's not as good a shooter as Burks is right now.
I know.
Yeah, that's true.
His handle isn't as good as Burks either.
And he's the number 14
the stat that you said
overall. The number 14 overall ball defender.
He could do that. Like he could be the number one lead what is that?
Ball pressure, I think, like that, coming up the court. So
point of attack.
So in terms of that, then Dyson Daniels actually might be perfect for us just because of how Tibbs run his offense. But at the end of the day, a lot of us don't like how Tibbs run his offense. So I'm like torn between that.
I think a lot of what Tibbs do though is based on personality.
Sim, you're muted.
I think a lot of Sam, I'm gonna get right to you. I think a lot of what Tibbs does though is based on personnel, because when he had Derrick Rose, he was allowing him to go downhill, get into the key, so he knows how to coach like that. When he had Joakim Noah, he had him facilitating the offense. So if he has a facilitating, so I think a lot of it is
true.
Tibbs maybe he thinks the roster is more limited than it already is, than it actually is. I mean, because I've seen him run different types of offense. I don't see Daniels as that guy that's breaking people down, getting into the key, and kicking out. Do you guys? And then Sim, I know you had something you wanted to say.
Yeah, I don't see him being that guy that's just going to blow past you and break you down. But I think he can methodically get into the key,
Gotcha.
And because of his length, 6'7", 6'8", even if he gets there methodically, defenses, I think, still might collapse because he's got that length to be able to, score, to be able to at least be a threat. My concern is going to be with him is he going to be like Frank Ntilikina was, like, just very robotic, right? He was doing whatever, just this is what I have. I'm just doing this. This is the play.
Right.
The one concern that I do have is he just going to be robotic, for his first couple of years, or is he going to come in? We don't know, what his confidence level is like to be able to do that. I think That's the one concern that I would have. But I think he has just more playmaking ability and more craftiness than obviously Frank Ntilikina. But that would so that where he doesn't need to break it down break it down. I think he has enough craftiness to be able to still find open players. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know if that kind of speed is going to be. I mean, it's necessary from the point guard position, especially depending on how you play. I don't know. I mean, no, I don't think he can break the defense down like that. But I don't know if it's going to hurt him. I'll say that.
Right.
I don't know if it's necessarily going to hurt him.
Even some of the
I'm getting nervous. Y'all talking about Frank and Dyson now.
I'm just
getting a little nervous. I'm getting a little nervous.
Even when I did watch him play and study his tape or whatever a little bit, even when he did break the defense down, it's not like I really liked what he did when he went to the lane anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like he I don't want to say he's not tough or whatever, but I don't know, with his size, he should, like, if he go in the lane, he should be a problem, and he's not. Being that size, if you a 6'8" point guard and can get into the lane, then that completely changes your whole offense. Like,
right,
he'd be unstoppable, but he's not unstoppable. So we'll just have to see how he develops, I guess.
Right,
because he can get better at all of that.
He can. Harlem Girl said, y'all are being very disrespectful of Daniels.
Now we disrespectful
I don't want to hear anyone complaining when he's balling out somewhere else.
Hey, man, we can't be capable for dudes that ain't even on the team yet, though.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Harlem Girl, Daniels is actually my pick at 11 because
I wouldn't be mad if he was our pick too. I wouldn't be upset.
He's my pick at 11. So, I think he, regardless, I just think that he would fit well with what we do.
Right.
Without being everything else, I think he would fit well.
Yeah.
So he's my pick there.
It's just that you got to think about it. If we're going to do a show on these dudes, we have to nitpick their game.
Yeah. No.
Because in that case, we should just draft everybody then.
Right. And the
bottom line
is nitpicking their game.
No doubt about it. And we've missed on so many. Think about how many top 10 picks have we had since 2013, the last time we were in the playoffs, other than last season. And how many of them have we hit on?
Probably just one with RJ. So we missed out on Mikal Bridges. We missed out on Donovan Mitchell. We missed out on.
I mean,
how many did we miss
more recent than that? Because Obi was picked 8th, and there are some players that was picked after him that we could have gotten that would completely change the look on this team right now.
Mm-hmm.
So not saying that we missed on Obi. It's just that the player that you picked, if they would have picked another player, this team looks differently.
Right.
People saying Darius Garland, you should have picked him instead of RJ.
That wasn't gonna happen though. No.
Not at that time.
No way. Nobody would have picked
at that
time. Garland over RJ. That's no way.
Yeah, is Daniels better than Deuce?
Yes, higher ceiling and more upside than Deuce just because of his size alone.
Yeah.
He's like 7 inches taller than Deuce.
Yeah.
So even though I like Deuce and I think Deuce is a dog, I'm not going to be one of those people that think he's going to just turn into Allen Iverson next year. Like he has a lot to deal with his game too, and confidence has a lot to do with it. That's why you see him killing in the G League, and not saying that Tibbs just don't put him in the corner anyway, but if he was killing in the G League like that, you would be able to see a sliver of it at least when he plays for us. And he has to get that confidence yet. He doesn't have it. I think he'll get it, but he doesn't have it yet. Daniels will have to be the same way, though. It's all about confidence for me.
And, people I see people a lot in my comments say, McBride was in the G League and he was getting 28 and 11, but you guys want to draft somebody from the G League. And it's just different because, that Ignite team is set up to be like a college team almost.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? you know, is set up that way. Plus, he's what is he? 18, 19. He's 19 years old. Deuce is what, 21 already, going to be 22. Whenever he turns 22, you know, it's just it's a different. And then of course you got the size, you know.
That G League Ignite team was designed to be full of lottery players.
Yeah, exactly.
Dyson Daniels wasn't going to score 20 points a game on that team. It's impossible.
Right.
It's not designed for that. It's almost like a real college team. It's just like you don't expect somebody just because they went to Duke, they're not going to average 25, 30 points a game.
Right.
That's just not going to happen.
Right. Any props for playing in the G League against some NBA type players, men versus college, or not? Not really.
I do. I think say if you were a high school senior, much as I love college basketball, I think if you're a top level prospect, I think you should go to the G League instead of just playing a year of college. I think you will even the talent is better, obviously, just because you're playing against grown men, but just having like a pro schedule and not having to worry about school. I think if you're good enough to get on the team, you should do that instead of going to college.
Yeah.
I mean, but, it's nothing wrong with going to college either. It just depends on who you are and the type of prospect that you are.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Working with, playing in NBA offenses, all the, the other outside things. I mean, in college, you're living on your own, but, you still, you're in the dorm, you got this, that, you got college rules. In the league, as far as they're concerned, you're an adult, you know what I mean? And, you got to handle things on your own, maybe you still got family support, whatever it is. But, I think I think it takes you a step closer, to being a full out NBA pro, you know what I mean? And, I think, I don't know, where is their home? The G League Ignite, where is their home?
I'm not sure, actually. That's a very good question.
That's a good question. But so I think that there's an edge there for Daniels, having played in the G League, right? Having played against, NBA players. Like he played against, Kuminga and all of those guys who were sent down to the G League. So I think that's an edge. Daniels reminds me, this is to Harlem Girls' point, when Giddey was drafted number 6, and I remember we was at the NBA draft at our draft party, and I was like, 6? That seemed kind of high. He's a good playmaker. He can't shoot. Then I watched him play. He hit a jump shot. I said, oh, he hit a shot. This is over. And I feel the same thing about Daniels. Like we pass on him. He goes somewhere else. Everybody's talking about his offense and his ball handling. Because remember, these guys know what their weaknesses are, what the concerns are. So they're working on it,
Right.
And then he's in Washington somewhere, popping jumpers, handle looking smooth. And now I'm sitting here upset.
And when he do come to New York, he hit us with a triple-double.
Right.
Exactly.
Because these guys are going to improve. And I think that's what we have to ask ourselves. Who are you betting on that this guy is going to improve and begin to approach their ceiling? So I would put my money on Daniels that he's going to improve his ball handling and improve his shooting.
Yeah. It's another player that I really, 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 really like. But we don't talk about him much because he's going to be in that range that we're not going to pick him at 11. But he's definitely not going to make it out of the first round. And that's Nikola Jovic.
Oh, we were talking about him last night.
Yeah.
I think with his ceiling, he already played, pro ball, playing in one of the best leagues in the world already at his age, with his skill set at like almost 7 foot tall, and he's like a 7 foot tall guard, 2, 3. Well, I think he's going to be a problem going forward. Like I think he's going to go somewhere like OKC, and they're going to have like a bomb squad in like 3 years.
But the only thing the knock on him is defense. But if your offense is rocking, they will ignore that. Right. I saw San Antonio too as a fit for him. Does San Antonio have a pick down in the 20s or something like that as well?
I don't know. I have to look again.
Yeah, they have
In terms of fit, yeah. Like you got to think about what type of player he is. So it's going to be, OKC, the Spurs, the Warriors, if they could get him, because the Warriors got like 3 picks in the draft. Well, they still got capital in the draft, even though they're in the finals. It's crazy.
Halliburton's shot is ugly too.
Mm-hmm.
How would you compare Daniels to Halliburton? Because there was a lot of players, there was a lot of the fan base. This is when I was just started to listen to MBK, just started listening to the video cast on YouTube. A lot of the fans was down on Halliburton. They didn't want him at 11. They talked about his shot. They talked about, he wasn't that fast. There was a lot of things. How do you compare Dyson to Halliburton?
Like if they're coming out, say if they was coming out the same year.
Yeah.
I'm picking Halliburton. Not gonna lie.
Me too.
I always liked him. I liked him when he was in college. I wasn't one of those people that just because his shot looked like that. Like if you actually watched him play, like he's a good point guard. Like he can control the team. He can control the ball. I like him.
Yeah, I wanted Halliburton at 8.
Mm-hmm.
But I did say if Obi dropped, I would take Obi. But I wanted Halliburton. That was my pick, and I would take him over Dyson Daniels. I think he's it's the only way that I know how to say it. I think he has it's just little things that he does. I compare it to Jason Kidd, like little things he does on the floor. Then I'm like, man, that was just smart.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And he just has that. And I wanted that with the Knicks.
Hey, Steph, I'm looking right. The Spurs have 9, 20, and 25.
Oh, man.
OKC has 2, 12, and I think that's it in the first round.
They traded
one of them.
The 30th pick to Denver.
But they still have 34.
For the 34th pick.
So, yeah, so all these teams that have multiple picks, they're going to get some really good players like in the 20s, man. I'm telling you.
I mean, the Knicks will have an opportunity if they want to give up one of their first-round picks from next year to move up, but I want them to keep it. I want them to keep that first-round pick to be available in a trade or for next year's draft, which I understand is stronger.
See, I don't know. I think it depends on who their target is for the trade, because I know a lot of people keep talking about the 2023 draft, but no players are ever attached to that argument, though.
Right.
Like everybody just say, yeah, I want picks in that draft. But when they say, well, who are the targets? Nobody know any of the targets. We just are told that it's going to be a better draft just because, high schoolers are coming in, and some of the other players that aren't high schoolers, period, are just really good players. But
you would give up would any of you give up one of next year's first round picks for another pick in this year's draft?
No, I'm not doing it.
I would. It depends on who's on the board.
If you're giving me a high school player like a Garnett or who else came out?
Know?
You know what I'm saying?
But it's a crapshoot though. You're not gonna know if a guy's gonna be a Garnett though.
And that guy might mess around and be 29 next year. You don't know. Like, will it be worth it?
Well, I'll tell you this: if the Knicks can find a way to get Jalen Williams, the shooting guard out of Santa Clara, or that shooting guard small forward out of Arizona, Dale and Terry, I think his name is. I like him as well.
Yep. So if it's for one of them and we can easily move, well, I don't want to say easily, but if either one of them is sitting right there and not all we have to do, but we have to give up that Dallas pick next year, I would consider it. I wouldn't just be like, nah. I'd consider it. I don't know.
Dale and Terry is
marked
marked
in the first round. Factor for me to give it up, Jarrell.
Say that again, Steph. I'm sorry.
It would have to be a wow factor, like the young man from the high school is really doing it, and he could make it out. He could make it to the pros and start for me to just give up my first round pick like that. I'm just on the fence with that, Jarrell.
But remember, we have 2 first round picks. I'm not talking about ours. I'm really talking about Dallas's. Because I think Dallas, I mean, they obviously probably make the playoffs next year. So it's going to be lower than ours.
Okay. All right.
So say if you can move up and get either Jovic or anybody that you, Kai Soto, anybody that you like know that we're not going to get in the second round and can add to this team, I would definitely consider moving up to get them. For Dallas, it just depends.
Yeah. So yeah, let's see what you're saying.
We talked earlier about if we got one of those wings and Koloko, we would be happy.
Mm-hmm.
What if we got Doran and a Dale and Terry in the second round? Would you be just as happy or not really?
Yeah,
I'll be okay with that.
There's another guard I like, Bryce McGowan's from Nebraska. Like I like his game too. So I think it, like you said, it depends on who's on the board. Like say if we did get Doran traded up and got Jalen Williams from Santa Clara.
Oh my goodness! I would just take my ball and go home. It's over. I'm happy. I'm happy right now.
Say if the Spurs want to do a deal with us. Remember I said they have 9, 20, and 25. Say if they want the 20th pick, and we'll give them Dallas first, and we mess around and get Jalen Williams and Doran at 11 and Williams at 20. Well, yeah, I'll do it. Like to me, that's almost a no-brainer. Unless I would have to, you know how much research I would have to be had on the 2023 draft in order for me not to do that.
Right.
And but not only that, we got a lot of second round picks. So if there's I'm not sure how many high school players are coming in, but we'll be able to get, I think, enough prospects even in the second round.
And I'm mad everybody assuming all these high school players are supposed to be good.
Yeah, that's true.
Like they're coming out of high school. Like I understand it's going to be deep, but I wouldn't go crazy over it.
I think a lot of those guys, see, I think, people talk about in 2023 all the draft picks the Knicks got, but this is where I think they begin developing they're really developing their G League team. Right? If they don't use those picks, you got 4 or 5 picks where you can draft these guys, some of them coming out of high school, you might get and just throw them in the G League and let them play for a couple of years.
True.
You know what I mean? And if one of them really starts to pop, you're like, okay, this is our guy, we're bringing him up. Yeah, but this is where you can really start to really use the G League as a like really truly use it as a developmental ground, for a bunch of young guys that's just playing, trying to get better. And in a couple of years, they're ready.
I wonder if the NBA is going to allow you to have more than two-way contracts when that happens, because right, I would think 4 or 5.
Yeah. If you draft 4 or 5 guys and you can't find a way to lock them up, and then one of them pops and they can just another team
pick them up. Right.
You can't allow that to happen. That would be crazy.
That'd be real crazy.
Yeah, you can't allow that to happen.
Yeah, I'd be high.
Yeah. Shout out to Ivey. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Our luck, we trade Dallas pick next year. Luka gets hers, miss most of the season, and that pick is like top 3.
So they'd be like the Spurs when David Robinson got hurt. They messed around and got Tim Duncan. Nah, man, don't do that, yo. Don't put that on us. It would be our luck, though. But you're right.
Is the Dallas pick top 10 protected?
I'm not sure. Even if it is, what if it's 11?
I think I forgot what is protected.
Yeah, I don't remember, to be honest.
I mean, it won't be Dallas. Dallas literally would have to be.
Yeah, because even without Luka, they still might make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, if they keep Brunson and they have Dinwiddie,
yeah, true.
Yeah. Will still be valuable in next year's draft.
I think it just depends on who it is. Like I said, if Nikola Jovic, like if he's there at 20 and the Spurs would give us 20 for next year's Dallas pick, I'm doing it. or Jalen Williams, or I don't know. I think it depends on who's. It just definitely depends on who's on the board.
Yeah, they'll wheel and deal to get who they want. San Antonio has 9, 20, 25, and 38.
Right.
And 38. That's
right. So they pick 3 picks before we pick again.
But that would be, where we.
Yeah. So if they're willing to trade one of those picks, and we got somebody like we was talking about Kai Soto.
Right.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I like Soto. At 38, though, if Coloco is there, I don't know. I think I might.
You like Coloco more than Soto? Ooh, Steph, didn't I see? I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's true.
We might disagree about that. I like Soto, man. The footwork, I can't get over the footwork,
man. Yeah.
You just talk about how he was little, like tapes of Keith Olajuwon when he was a teenager. I can't get over that stuff.
Yeah. Duncan, he likes Duncan as well. And yeah.
Like, I'm not crazy. I'm not saying we should pick him at 11, but if we can get back into the draft and get him, I'd go for it.
Yeah, and at 38, I mean, I think second round picks in next year's draft is going to be valuable. So, and the Knicks have a lot of them. So they could give up a second rounder,
right,
to move up from 41 to 38 if there's somebody there that
right. We might not even have to give up Dallas pick. You're right.
I just don't see where all these guys are playing. I mean, we're going to get 2 players out of this draft. Right. One of them got to go to the G League.
Right. And
everybody want the kids to play now.
Right. Unless there's going to be some serious moves going on, some serious trades and all of that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to open up room for them guys to play.
Yeah. Let's just talk quickly about, no pun intended, the point guard position. I mean, there really isn't any first round, any point guards ranked as high as number 11, even though CBS Sports had Ty at 8, but they were the anomaly. Nobody else had him that high. I don't think, obviously, there's nobody at 11 that could beat out anybody on our team right now, because there's nobody ranked that high. But in terms of the first round, if the Knicks were to draft down, do you see anybody in this draft that can beat out who we got? Derrick Rose, IQ, McBride. I think that's it that we have at the point guard position at this point.
See, when you say beat out, nah. See, beat out is the.
All right, be in the rotation. Would be in the rotation. Well, I mean, listen.
Nah.
McBride is not even in the rotation.
That's what I'm saying. So if my guy Deuce is not getting in the rotation, I'm not picking none of these dudes over Deuce.
You don't think Jalen Williams would get into the rotation?
He ain't no point guard.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those. He reminds me of Dyson Daniels, and probably even a little better in the sense that maybe at this point he's a 2. But he can handle the ball and he can have some playmaking responsibilities.
But to me, he's like a 2 guard. He's a 2-3 more than a 1-2. To me, he just got playmaking skills, just like Dyson Daniels.
Like, to me, what do you need at the point guard position if you got playmaking skills?
Yeah, I get it.
And that's what I'm
thinking defend the position. Maybe he can't defend the position. You think his handle is not good enough that he would be able to maneuver against, point guard defenders?
I guess maybe because he didn't play point guard at Santa Clara. So I haven't really seen him play point guard. Obviously, when you watch him play, he does have the ball in his hand all the time, but he wasn't the point guard for that team. So I would have to see him actually play the point. And I haven't watched any of his workouts and stuff. I have no idea. Like in his pro days, that's something that he's ultimately working on. I thought he was just going to be a 2 that can pass because he can shoot. He's athletic. I think he's athletic enough to defend a 2. So I don't know. I don't view him as a point guard.
Yeah, I mean, he's not. But I'm just saying the way that the NBA is played right now, could he? Like when we say point guard, what are we looking for at this point? And the way the NBA is
exactly,
is now.
because we keep saying, because we keep saying that how he's a combo guard, he's not a point guard. You know, for real, what are we really looking for when we talking about point guard? Because every time we say that, oh yes, we could put another point guard. He's not a point guard. So I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, what
he got good playmaking skills, but he's not a point guard.
But the thing
You
is,
know what I'm
it's because
saying?
it's the position that we haven't had in so long. Pretty much everybody with playmaking skills, you want to just put him at the point guard.
Right.
Like there's certain people want to say if Johnny Davis could play point guard. Johnny Davis not no point guard.
Nah.
No,
That's
a
different.
lot of people said that.
Yeah, that's reaching right there to me. Nah.
Right, but when he has the ball in his hand for the most part, and he did playmaking at Wisconsin, so to play devil's advocate, how can you not put him at the point, but put Jalen Williams at the point?
But Jalen Williams, though, can operate out of the pick and roll and make those passes. Make the passes out of the pick and roll and make those shots out of the pick and roll. I don't see Davis doing that.
And Jarrell, who else on Wisconsin was helping the kid? Who else was there to really play make for him also too? Because he had the ball most in his hands. Really nobody.
Yeah, but you can't
So,
name.
but I get what you're saying though. He's not a point, but he was the one he was initiating the offense.
It's the same thing with Jalen Williams at Santa Clara. Like, wasn't nobody on that team going to have the ball in their hands more than him, regardless of what position he played. I'm just talking like just going forward.
Right.
Being a point guard for the Knicks or for any NBA team, like playing the NBA point guard, I think is a little different.
Yeah.
I don't view them as point guards. I just view them as wings that can play make. I think it's a difference.
But when you look at now, I'm not saying they at the Curry level. But when you think about Curry and you think about Dame, you like those guys don't come across to me as true point guards either.
Not
exactly. That's true.
They also have teams that design their offense around that fact, though.
Right.
At this point, we wouldn't do that. Our offense would be the same, and they'll just look crazy playing the point. Yeah, it just depends, I think. But you're right, though.
I think Williams could play out of the pick and roll.
Okay.
Well, and if you could put Burks at the point guard,
if you could put Burks, you could put anybody, right?
That's what I'm saying. For real.
Say we do draft Williams, so you're saying that Tibbs will actually put that in the offense then, because pick and roll ain't even in our offense. Really, we don't do that with anybody that we had. Not even when Rose played, we didn't do it that often. Quickly, even Burks. None of them. We don't run a pick and roll type offense.
Run some, not a lot.
Not a lot.
I know, like
Randall, pick and roll.
Kemba and Randall were doing some pick and roll when
nasty
when Kemba was there.
That was nasty.
You know,
that didn't look good at all.
But I think for Tibbs, it's about the personnel. I think
got a couple of buckets out of that.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah, even with RJ and Mitch too. It was pick and roll.
Right. But I guess what I'm saying is just because we haven't done it doesn't mean we can't do it, and doesn't mean that Tibbs doesn't know how to do it.
True. That's true. That's true. Definitely true.
Yeah. Anybody else you think out of the draft? And then we could talk about whatever you guys want to that you think is better than the guards we have. Or not really. All of our guards are pretty much better than what's in the draft.
Well, in terms of people that, point guards for me, I like a kid named Ryan Reynolds out of Toledo. But I don't think, say we did draft him, he'd be in the G League just like Deuce. He's not going to get any burn. Right. If you want to talk about somebody like in the end of the first or in the second round, I don't think no point guard would make this team.
Alondes either out of Wake Forest?
Nah. G League. I think he G League, period. Regardless of who draft him.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't see anybody, late first round, second round, any guards that are coming in and unless, they're a surprise, but
Mhm.
Just off the face value, I don't see anyone coming in and taking a spot.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Because the dude that you was talking about from Arizona, Terry, he has point guard capabilities too.
I
The
really like
offense ran through him a lot at Arizona. It didn't run through Ben Mathurin. It ran through him.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about him.
I like him.
Mm.
But you said he's not a point guard. You said
No,
he's
he's not a point guard.
a short shooting guard, small forward.
Right. He's just one of those players or one of those wings that said that he could play the two. He just has playmaking skills, but I don't think he's a point guard. But technically, I think they view him as a combo guard.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
to me, he can just play make.
lanky. Yeah,
Mhm.
he's
I like his attitude too. He played
Yeah, I
with.
forgot. He put up some big shots in the tournament
Right.
too.
I like the way he played,
Right.
man. Like he played
Yeah,
like he
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
that
yeah,
shot.
yeah.
Right. I like him too. So if we say we wanted to move up and get him, that's another target that I would not be mad if we moved up and got him too. He could add something to this team.
Yeah, but he needs to put on some weight too. Yeah, he a little linky, a little skinny. He needs a little weight.
right. But then that's another wing. you
Right.
know,
Right.
that's that's another.
Right. A lot of these to me are just wings that know how to play make well. So I don't see Tibbs playing them at the point. None of them, except for like Dyson Daniels.
You think he would play him at the point?
Yeah, he would play him at the point, especially since Dyson Daniels already told us that that's what they did. Like we don't know how it went, but he was like, "Yeah, they played us at the point." None of the reporters said, "Well, how did it go, Dyson?" Like, none of them said that.
Right.
Yeah. He's 6'7", 195 pounds.
Two guard. You know what I'm saying? That's like a prototypical, two guard.
I would love somebody 6'7" or 6'8" on this team playing on the wing who can actually play.
Oh,
Not just because they're tall, but that can actually play.
Is that a shot at Cam? That's a shot.
Oh no!
You shoot that Cam. That's why Sue started laughing.
That's true. We do have Cam. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
no,
we
Cam
forget
can play.
about Cam.
Cam can play. Yeah, he can play.
But I do agree with you though. That's why I wish RJ would I wish they would move him to the 2 and say if it's not Cam, yeah, I wish it was somebody, 6'8", 6'7" and up, playing the 3.
Yeah.
Man, it's all questions, man, going into the season and the draft right now.
Yeah, man.
All of it is
very interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
All of it is roster construction because most of us want half of this team gone, or at least moved in some type of way.
I just feel like we got. I'm just waiting. I'm hoping next season is the season 1 or 2 or 3 of our players separate themselves, so we can get a better sense of who we really have. I think RJ did that this past season, quickly a little bit, but just so we can get a sense of what we have. So that's what I'm really, really hoping.
Well, we got to pay them all then.
I mean, or move them. But the thing about it is that once you find out who they are, now you're trying to move them. Their value is low. Their value is lower, I should say.
Right, but I guess it depends on how they do it too. Say, especially if somebody shows something before the trade deadline this year. Somebody like Cam. I actually think Cam is a trade target, much as I like him and much as I want him on the team. I actually think, like, say, if coming off the injury, they give him more minutes. If he plays like he's capable of, he can definitely be shipped out of here by the All-Star break.
I've been saying he was a trade chip a long time ago.
I hate the fact that it's true, but I think that's true, though.
But I think it's because of the money, though. Because he has a contract.
That's true. That's a factor right there.
That's definitely a factor.
I'm just gonna, it's just gonna make me a little upset. That you traded the first round pick for him that you would have had in this draft.
Right.
Oh, 30 pick? Was it 30? Right. You would have had that pick in this draft that Yeah, you talk about now. Oh, I like Jaden Ivey. That you could have packaged the 11 and 30 and 42 if you wanted to, and traded up to get Jaden Ivey. Possibly. I'm just saying, possibly. You know what I mean? And to
That's a
have,
good point, too.
and then to have a guy that you traded for, and then, you use that pick, and then you traded that pick, and then you trade that player. Hey,
It's rough. It's rough.
I'd be a little upset about that.
But it depends on who they got back for him, though. Right? I mean,
or what they got back. Right, true.
For Cam,
True.
That would.
Right.
But that pick would have been the 30. Wasn't that the Charlotte pick that we swapped last year?
Yeah, we swapped last year.
So it would have been the 30th pick?
I don't know.
Let me see. We traded with the Hawks. So what do the Hawks have?
It was the Hawks. I thought we traded with Charlotte for Kai so that they took Kai Jones and we switched with them.
I think it was 18 or 19 or something like that.
Right, but we traded.
I'm confused now.
I don't know what number. So we had we got that Charlotte pick. It was from Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
We traded it to Atlanta for Cam Reddish, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But had we kept it, would that have been one of Charlotte's pick? That
Right,
13 or 15 pick?
It would have been 15, I think. 13 or 15. Probably 15.
I think it was 15.
Because Charlotte, like, we're 11, and Charlotte was like right above us, right?
Yeah.
Charlotte came to the play-in, right? When they like 2 or 3 slots, right? Makes sense. They got 13 and 15.
Right. Charlotte has a 13th pick right now, and then New Orleans has a 15th pick that went from. Wait a minute. New Orleans has a 15th pick going to Charlotte.
Right.
Yeah,
so Charlotte has. Oh, so that was. So.
Yeah, I'm confused now. So where's our pick then?
I guess it's where Atlanta is picking.
Nah, that's their regular pick.
16. That's their regular pick.
Where's the Cam first round pick?
Yeah,
I'm looking for it.
Because I'm actually looking at taking signs and they actually showed like the pick and the pick it came from, and I don't see Atlanta on here.
Yeah, me either.
As like a pick that they got from us. I don't get it.
Let me see.
Unless I'm wrong, unless we're wrong about the trade, I don't know. But it seems like, well, yeah, because they do say the Pelicans right here at 15.
Yeah, so
but Charlotte got it from them.
We gave it to it for Cam. Where is it?
That's what
I guess I'm just curious of where we would have drafted had we not.
We definitely would have had 2 first round picks.
Because I'm looking now, it says, and this is from NBA.com, the Hawks traded Cam Reddish to the Knicks for a protected 2022 first round pick.
Right. Did Atlanta move it on to somebody?
Right.
I don't think so. I don't remember hearing anything about that.
But it would be up here, right?
Right.
I don't see it anywhere.
I don't see it either. I'm confused.
For some reason, I thought it was the 30th pick, but that's Phoenix going to Denver.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
That's weird.
It's a little weird. That's a little
weird.
weird.
It just disappeared into the pothole.
Well, maybe the pick was protected to the point where, because Charlotte has a certain record, it doesn't get conveyed. Maybe that's why.
Oh, okay.
That's rough, right? No.
That's rough for Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that don't make any sense. Something wrong.
So
that can't be.
Yeah.
And speaking of Atlanta, I saw in the I don't know what side it was. I think they said John Collins, Clint Capella, Herder, and whatever pick they they're going to Utah for Rudy Gobert.
They can do that.
They didn't see what happened in the playoffs with
I'm about to say they can do that. I'm cool.
With Rudy Gobert, they didn't see what happened.
Right.
Well, they looking to give up all of that for him. They probably seen something in Rudy.
Oh, it says the pick was top 18 protected.
Yeah, but so what happens to the pick if it,
Does it turn into? Does it
So I guess it stayed with Charlotte because they're 13. And so I don't know, maybe some years down the line, if it's not paid
Oh,
next season,
it'll become a second round pick or
like,
something like
yeah,
that.
like 2 second-round picks or something.
That's right. It was top. So that's why they had 2. No, they got 1 from Norm,
No.
but they kept they pick because it was top 18 protected.
Right.
So it didn't convey. Okay.
So that okay.
So I'm interested. Does that turn into a second round pick now? Does it go into next year?
If it does, then that's still a good pick, whether it's first or second, because of how everybody, value in the draft next year. So I guess it's a win-win either way for them.
Right.
Just because of how people viewed next year's draft.
Right.
I really do wish we move up.
That she said that's why it was good that the Knicks. But Ron, do you know if is it a first round pick in next year's draft? Is it a second round pick in next year's
Right. What
draft?
did it turn into?
And why would the Knicks do that? Why would you trade your pick from last year to this year and know you couldn't get it back? It's top 18 protected.
But maybe that's why they did it, because
it stays a first next year. After next year, it turns into a second.
But maybe that's why they did it, because they just wanted to see what Cam had.
Right.
So I think it was a good move. It's just not a good move if we let Cam walk.
Well, if we let him walk for nothing.
Right, that's what I mean.
Like Mitch.
Can't do that with Mitch, yeah. Yeah, we should have traded Mitch.
It's still protected up to the same 18?
If that's the case, that's a trash trade for them if it got to be protected like indefinite, like it until it's not.
Yeah. Wow.
Has to be some type of cutoff.
Anything else on the draft? Anything else on our team? It's gonna go fast after the draft. Free agency is gonna start. Then summer league.
How I guess what percentage do you think we can actually go up and try to get Ivey? Since that's what the news cycle is talking about now.
Yeah.
Number 4.
I don't know, man.
I would love to do it. I guess it's completely up to Sacramento and what they're asking for.
Right.
But I'm trying to think, what would I not give up?
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
What would I not do?
You got an expansion draft. Who you're gonna protect, and then everybody else is on the table. If you believe in him, if you believe he's a game changer, you got to go get him. Like that's what I was thinking with LaMelo Ball. I don't know if the Knicks had the assets at the time, but if they did,
I told you I'd have traded the Statue of Liberty for Melo. They could have asked for anything in New York City from Melo, but all the bridges would have been gone. Everybody would have had to drive in tunnels.
Can you imagine LaMelo Ball in New York right now?
Oh my goodness, it's been crazy.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like at some point, you got to put your chips at the middle of the table. Now, I'm not saying Ivey is the guy to do it for, but if they believe he is, then you should.
To be honest, I think he's the person to do it for. I just don't know if they're going to do it because I guess it depends on if you do like the front office or not. But I actually do like what they've been doing in the draft because every year they move.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's on the table.
That's all Brown Holiday.
Any combination except RJ. Any combination you want.
Except RJ. I'm giving up anybody except RJ.
And but now the only thing I would say is if RJ and his camp is adamant that they're not going to sign for anything less than the max, then he can go too.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah, you're going to put that little caveat in there. RJ, welcome to Sacramento.
If they're adamant that we are not signing for anything less than the max, then the Knicks need to trade him before it gets to that point.
Right. But I don't think, I guess we would never know. I don't think RJ would do that, but you never know.
Yeah, I don't think he don't. I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
And sometimes it ain't about him.
That's true.
Sometimes it's about his representation also.
Yep.
Right.
So, like his dad know the ins and outs of the NBA. Like he not no fool either.
Right.
So
a lot of fans didn't want LaMelo. Really? I don't remember.
Not
that.
this fan.
I did. I wanted.
Yeah, I don't care what the fans wanted. Then the fans were wrong. We should have got Melo here. We should have got Melo Wall.
I was wrong on Melo. I was one of the guys that said nah because his shot was there. But after seeing him playing in Charlotte and in person too, I was like, oh my God, what did we do?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah, I traded everybody for him, man.
That's why when you look at these prospects, you got to be like, what if he get a jump shot? What if this guy get an in-between game? What if this guy learns how to play defense? Like, you got to think of it like that because they all got holes in their game.
And you know the thing though, I don't think they was trading that pick. I think they were.
I don't think.
Right.
I don't think so.
I'm sure there might have been some teams that they probably got a lot of calls. They were like, "Nah, we drafting this guy."
Right.
I don't think Jordan was going to give him up, or I don't think Jordan was going to give up that pick anyway.
Nah, he had to make that pick because he drafted Kwame Brown for the Washington Wizards. He had to make that up.
I wouldn't have been surprised if he was drafted first.
Who? Ivey?
No.
LaMelo.
Melo.
No.
I wouldn't have been surprised if he would have got drafted over Anthony Edwards. I wouldn't have been shocked at all. He would have definitely worked with Cat and all the teams that they have, the players that they have now.
But they had D'Angelo Russell, right?
So, who?
They had D'Angelo. You know.
So I don't think they would have had Nipsey Russell.
They were looking at.
Who cares? Like,
Anthony Edwards Smith, because Anthony Edwards is gonna be a star.
Yeah, he gonna be. Yeah, he like if we would have moved up to get him, he would have been another one. Also, I think he's a star. Also, but I'm just saying if they would have drafted Melo ahead of him, I wouldn't have been.
Oh, right.
I wouldn't have been shocked at all. I don't care if they would have got no D'Angelo Russell though.
Right,
like, he could have played anywhere else.
Russell to us.
But I think that's how you miss out though, saying this guy is not a fit. Like that's what happened with Sacramento when they took Bagley because they didn't think Luka or Trey or whoever was a fit because they already had Fox.
Can you imagine if that was us? What if we would have been the team that picked Bagley over Luka and Trey Young? I don't even know what the media would have did to us. They got a small market and nobody cares about, other than their fan base, obviously. Nationally, nobody cares about the Kings. That's the only reason they're not getting, crucified in the media for that.
Now that is building blocks is bugging.
What are you saying?
So true. See, that's why he put the smiley face on there. He know that was a joke.
He gotta be.
Yeah, that's not.
That was a joke. So much more talented than
He got the pedigree, man. Like, dad was in the NFL. Grandfather, I think, was in the NFL. His mom was a starting point guard in the national championship team, and is the head coach at Notre Dame now. His
dad was in the NFL.
Yeah, his dad
playing for which team?
The Ravens, I believe. Don't get me wrong; he wasn't like a name player, but he made it to the league, and that's all that matters.
Okay.
He was athletic enough to make it to the league.
Because I definitely don't remember no Ivey in the NFL.
No, he has his
his mother played in the WNBA.
Right, he has his mother's last name. I forgot his dad's name, but his dad was an athlete too, and his grandfather.
Okay.
So Ivey is from. And his mom.
Put it like this, in my opinion, we need a star in the Garden, and if you could pack up some chips to go ahead and get him to make that splash, do it.
Would you trade for a potential star in the draft or a potential star that's already in the league?
I'll do the draft.
My scary thing about the draft is, like I said, you don't know what's going to happen.
Don't know.
That is true. That is true.
Dennis Smith Jr. didn't hit either.
But what number was he? What number was Derek?
He wasn't one. He wasn't one. He was, I think, 9 or something like that.
Right. Yeah, it was.
So we talking about top 5, Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jaden Ivey. Yeah,
But you know, it's a couple of top 5 players out there that didn't.
Bagley.
No, and I
Bagley?
do it. Bagley, the one
Bennett, was
from
it Bennett?
Cleveland. Yeah, Bennett from
Bennett was one.
Cleveland. Yeah.
What's the center from Philadelphia?
Noel.
I'm about to say all of them except for MVP.
I think Noel was 6 though.
Oh, you talk about from Duke?
Duke. I can't think of his name. Dang.
Greg Oden. That's another one.
His name.
I can't.
Now I'm mad. I can't think of his name.
I mean, they were talking about him being a transformational post.
Right.
You know, one of
I
the
think Olo Candy.
Okafor.
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 Yeah.
He's out. Is he out the league? I think he's out the league.
I think he's out.
I think he's out.
Yeah, it's a couple of them for real.
His post game was serious in college. Got an NBA.
See, as a Tar Heel fan, we could talk about these Duke players if we want to. I'm saying, not saying that we are that too, but we could definitely talk about all these high-ranking Duke players that came in the top 10 and ended up being nothing.
Right.
But,
and I think we was upset, right? Weren't we upset? I mean, because I was at that draft when we didn't get Okafor,
and we got
he didn't drop to us, and we got
KP.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, we took KP.
You know what? I can't even lie. I feel shameful. But I actually wanted Emmanuel Mudiay in that draft.
Don't feel shameful. Like, a lot of people wanted Emmanuel Mudiay.
I wanted Mudiay in that draft.
Really?
Emmanuel Mudiay, he was the point guard. Stafford, that's not a bad take at all.
Yeah.
Like at the time, that's not a bad take at all.
Yeah. When they drafted KP, I was like, oh my God.
Like we needed a point guard and Mudiay right there.
Right. That's what I was
But Sim, you know the funny thing about it though, with that pick with KP, when I first heard about KP, I went and I did so much research and I was like, yo, that is the guy.
I mean,
I did not think he was the guy.
Me personally, I thought I even though everybody say he was a project, Melo say he was a project, when I saw him and he was coming, I said, yes, he could do a lot of things.
But with Emmanuel Mudiay, he came fresh out of high school, had the 1 year at, what was it, China or something?
China, something
like that. So he had the size, he had the court vision. He was a prototypical point guard. I know a lot of Knicks fans thought he was the pick.
Yep. I was like, this kid.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been mad at him.
And it just goes to show there are no guarantees in the draft. It just goes to show.
Yep.
And especially point guard too. When you talk about a lot of busts that was in the league, a lot of them point guards that was nice in college, they are not nice in the NBA. Like that's like the number one position for me, that you could be an All-American point guard in college and not even make an NBA roster quick.
Yeah. Right.
And I think that's my concern about, unless you consider Ivey a can't miss. I don't really see that like I saw that with Zion and LeBron, like these can't miss prospects.
You don't see him like that? I don't think he misses. Like how?
Man, his talent is so crazy.
Right. Like even if he doesn't develop a jump shot, you can't stop him from going to the basket.
It's just like Morant. Morant don't have no.
I think he got a better jump shot than Morant, though.
He does.
He has a better jumper than
Morant has that playmaking and that court vision that Ivey does not have.
Ivey is going to be like a Westbrook type of guy. You know what I'm saying?
Like he's
man. Why you say
I would take that though.
I hope people don't. Yeah, I hope people don't think that's a slouch.
No, that's what I'm saying. Not as a slouch, but like just that kind of athleticism.
Okay.
That, you know what I'm saying? I think that's what.
If he gonna be
if
that,
Ivey
what do you want? What do you want?
If Ivey never develops, like his floor, still could mean all-star. If he doesn't develop a jump shot, he doesn't. He's so athletic, he doesn't need one. Not right now.
I'm basing it on Morant and he still made an all-star without a jump shot.
Yeah, that's
not
just
even though it was sporadic, you know.
So my question is, what's the IQ of Ivey? Because Dennis Smith was very athletic as well. It wasn't a playmaker. either, and they saw him at the point guard, not because he was a point guard, but because of his size.
But
And where
Smith,
else are you going to
I was just about to say, Smith didn't have the length that Ivy have.
Yeah,
I think so. I think that's a big difference right there too.
The length or the athlete?
Both.
The length. The length.
Jaden Ivey like 6'4".
Smith was
he's 6'1".
Yeah,
and
Smith,
and Jaden Ivey was more athletic than Smith Jr.
Oh my God.
He was.
I mean, Dennis Smith Jr. was pretty athletic.
He was.
I mean,
he was even more athletic before he hurt his knee.
Yeah.
He hurt his knee in high school. He was even more athletic when he was like a junior in high school than he was coming into the NBA. Like, he was a problem. I do agree with that. He was nice.
We went to North Carolina State, right?
Yeah, he was supposed to come to us, man. I was mad, yo. I was so mad. I wanted him so bad. We messed around. We got, this is just nerd talk, we got Seventh Woods. I don't remember if anybody remember him. He was another high-ranking point guard that didn't do anything.
No, I don't even remember him.
Yeah, he was 6'2".
Yeah, about that. Like, yeah, Seventh Woods was like his rival in high school. They're both from North Carolina, in the Carolina area.
Dennis Smith is just 24, and he's out the league or almost out the league.
He played for
Portland, right?
Portland last year. He played. But yeah, he's not stable as he should be. Yeah. To be honest, yeah. You're right.
And the Knicks went back and round up everybody they missed in the draft. Give me Dennis Smith Jr., give me Moutier, give me, what was the guy from Orlando?
Every point guard.
Fizz was there, the small forward from Orlando International
Who's that?
player that we brought him back as well. I think he was the 8th pick. This was when Fizdale.
Mario Hazonia.
Yes.
Oh, Hazonia.
Yeah. They was like, we're gonna round up everybody we passed on. We're gonna round them up and give them another chance.
I thought Mario Hazonia had some talent.
I thought he had some game, yo. I liked him.
Yeah, I thought he
did. He had dunked on LeBron.
Yeah, like
we thought he was coming.
Like, he's here now. Super Mario. We was giving him nicknames. Super Mario here. He ended up being Luigi. He was no Super Mario, yo. He was Toad. Like, he ended up doing nothing. And then he actually went overseas. And then recently, he actually kind of crapped on the NBA in his time with the Knicks. He ain't like how the NBA.
But I think that's what's the name of our VP again? I think that was just his pick right there, man. What's the name of our VP right now?
Scott Perry. Yeah,
Scott Perry. Yeah, because Scott Perry picked him when he was in Orlando. So I think that was Scott Perry, man.
Who was Scott Perry picks when he was with the Kings? That's what we need to dissect, because the Kings
Fox?
Back. I don't know.
I think it was Fox.
I think he did pick Fox.
I got a line up.
He picked Fox is when he came to the Knicks. I think.
What about Bagley?
He wasn't in Sacramento that long, maybe a year.
I say, what about Bagley? Who was there when Bagley got picked? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, that's why you got to be careful with.
What's his name? Valley Divac.
Valley Divac.
But he was there. But Scott Perry and Valley Divac, I think, but Valley was there for a long time.
Yeah,
I think they were there at the same time. I think I could be wrong though.
But that's why you got to be careful with fit. Like Sacramento playing around, and they don't want to get Ivey because you got Fox, and you just draft the best player available and let them work it out. You can always move Fox.
They did that. They drafted Halliburton and moved him.
Right.
But they got, to be honest, they got Sabonis out of it. So
right.
I can't even say that's a bad trade for them. So that was actually pretty good. I just wouldn't have picked Fox over Halliburton.
Right.
I would have went the other way. But what they did was a right move, though.
It wasn't Davion Mitchell?
Yeah. Last year.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's why to them Halliburton was expendable if you're going to get Sabonis back, because that's probably who they wanted. They probably didn't want Fox, so it makes sense.
Right. So it was a good move for both. I'm not passing on Ivey because I got Fox.
Yeah, I'm not. No. So, but see, don't do that, Steph. I want Ivey. Don't do that.
But you got to talk to the Knicks front office. To me, I mean, we don't know what's going, but they just seem real conservative up there. Like
I think they're real
put them chips in the middle of the table
Right.
and get your guy.
As much
If
as
Ivey is your guy.
remember, I said we always move, right? That's why it's gonna piss me off. I think we're gonna move down. It's not gonna be up. I think we're gonna move down.
because they all
It's not
about
gonna be up, yo.
value.
Yeah, because Brock Aller, he's all into to gaining assets. So
I get it, but at some point you have to use the assets.
Right.
Ivey is the guy, man. Ivey is the guy. Like we should go get him.
If it's not that, they probably targeting another superstar that's in the league. That's best I could think of.
See, that's why Steph asked that question. I said draft because when she asked, like, would you rather have a big package for
no, I'd rather the draft too, right? I'd rather the draft, but if they don't go ahead and put the chips in for Ivey, who else you packing up all these assets for? It may be a superstar in the league.
Let's see, homegirl said he's going to Houston. See, him going to Houston is more redundant than Sacramento picking him.
Okay.
Because
if he has that superstar, but who do they got over there? Porter? So you're not gonna draft him because they got Kevin Porter?
Maybe. I'm not gonna lie. Kevin Porter, he's nice.
He ain't that nice. He don't have that type of ceiling, though. He don't have that type of ceiling. But let me ask you, if he does go to Houston and one of those bigs drop, are you still trading up or you only trading up for Ivey in that top 4?
To me, the big that would drop would be so hold on. So who got the first 2 picks? It's Orlando
and OKC.
And OKC is just racking up the
right. So they can pick. See, I think they are the wild card and not the Rockets. I'm not past them picking Ivey at 2 because if you have somebody like the kid last year that got picked too early, like if you have him and Ivey as your starting backcourt, they are going to be a problem.
Yes. And not only that, Giddey is what? How tall is Giddey? Is he
6'8"? Like he's like 6'7", 6'8".
You can have Ivey, SGA, and Giddey 1, 2, and 3.
Exactly.
And Shea Alexander. And Shea Alexander.
All of them can handle the
man coming off the bench.
Now you talk about positionless.
And they still have 2 more picks in the draft. So why not draft Jaden Ivey?
Oh, goodness.
So, but a lot of people just like think they're going to draft a big because they don't have many bigs. That don't mean nothing. Like they can still draft Ivey and just be guard heavy.
But I'm saying though, they have Derek Favors and Pokashevsky. Derek Favors and Pokashevsky. That's the only bigs they have, bro.
But that's the only big they would need.
I mean, that is rough.
Yeah, that's rough. I couldn't even lie. That's rough. But remember, they had Stafford. They have 12 right after us, so they can still get Duran or Williams too.
Right.
True.
So that's what I'm saying.
Or Eason or Sohan. You don't need no offense with that. You just need defensive players, that can run the floor.
So they don't need to draft a big at 2, man. Like I don't like when people think that everybody just know that Ivey is going to go 4. He can go 3. He can go. He better not go 1 though. Orlando be wilding if they did that.
Why?
But yeah,
but listen.
I said
got a
that
higher ceiling than Suggs.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised.
Over there. Fultz, higher ceiling than Fultz. He got a higher ceiling than Cole Anthony as well.
You're right.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised if they took him at number 1. I said this 2 weeks ago.
I'm not in the front office, but I'm not playing around talking about fit. Oh, I got a point guard already. Okay.
And he would definitely have to. We would definitely have to move in the top 4 because there's no way he's getting past 5. Because Caden Cunningham and
Detroit.
Caden Cunningham and Jaden Ivey are a perfect match in the backcourt.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Ain't no way he's getting past that.
No way he's getting past 5. They would be foolish. That would be malpractice. Somebody getting fired.
Right. And matter of fact, they like Mitch, we probably wouldn't even be able to put a package together for Detroit to give up that possibility.
Nope. Not with him paired up with Cade Cunningham. No way. He is 6'8" point guard. So put Ivey at the 2, have him interchange. It don't matter what position they play at that point.
Right.
They play completely different type of games, so they complement each other perfectly.
Yeah,
this is pissing me off. Like, I'm mad now. Like, this is pissing me off because we don't have these type of options. Now I'm saying, like, now that I'm saying,
it's true, Gerald. I'll be mad too. I'll be mad too.
Like, and we have about the Knicks 10 minutes ago.
Right, and we have a young core, but I don't know. I don't think it compares to what OKC has. But again, we haven't been drafting at that high. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
We're not supposed to. Have that. Right. Honestly, we're not even supposed to have the type of depth Sacramento has. They just haven't been picking well.
Right.
Sacramento seem like they pick in the top 5 or 6 every season.
But so have we in the top 10. I think it's just the way this recent front office has been drafted that we have these guys.
Right.
I think RJ is the only one, and Mitch. RJ and Mitch.
No,
from
but
the prior regime.
I think also too is the way how the ping pong balls fall too, man. It's never our luck.
Yeah, like we got 3. I'm not mad at RJ, but I would love Morant.
No luck either. That's the whole nother show, but there ain't no luck.
We had the best chance. And we dropped to 3.
Yeah, there ain't no luck. There ain't no luck.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's never our luck, man. Never.
You don't have bad luck for 40 years.
I did an entire video with Zion and I used Lauryn Hill's song. You know, the whole
you had the choir singing in the background with Lauryn Hill, man.
The whole, you know, almost I can't even think.
You had no RJ Barrett songs, man. You had to get an RJ song, man. That was no luck.
And like, even other teams
shafted us. That's all.
Who's not even drafted in the top, they still find a little diamond at 8 or 13 or 12. We can't even do that.
Do you want to talk about what Milwaukee got the Greek Freak at?
Yeah, no.
Or what Denver got
Joker at? I think he was at 15.
Those MVPs we talking about. Yeah. They weren't even lottery picks.
And I think Kawhi was what, 14 or something like that?
Late bloomer too. Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe we have a chance then. Maybe we have a chance. We'll draft somebody.
I don't know.
You scratch your head
like me.
That was so sarcastic. Maybe
you know, every team hits on at some point. The Knicks luck, you know, in the draft got to come out where you hit on a player that becomes a star.
It might be IQ. Not gonna lie, I actually think I'm high on IQ. Yo, I like him.
You think he'll be a star though? I like him too.
I think he has the moxie to be. It's all about his game now. It's not about personality, especially in New York City. He already showed.
But Jarrell, we compare him to Lou Williams, and Lou Williams. How many All-Stars does Lou went to?
Right. Lou Williams would have been a star in the Knicks too, though. You gotta think about what you're saying, man. Lemon Pepper Lou would have killed when he would have played with the Knicks, man. He would have been a star here. You gotta think about that. Like, you don't have to be like, since we are the Knicks, they don't have to be the best player on the planet in order to be a star.
Right.
Yeah, but will he get votes in the All-Star? That's the thing about it. With all these guards that we got in the East, I don't see IQ as an All-Star even getting chosen, bro. I
can see him having an All-Star season or two.
I can see that.
Even as a 6-man.
Yeah, I can see that. I think he has the type of game, like, especially he seems like he has the type of work ethic to actually get better.
Are we talking multiple, or are we talking about one this year, one every 3 years?
I'm not saying perennial, like every year he's there.
And plus, you got to think about where we picked him, though, Stafford. Like, it's not like he was a top 10 pick. Like, we picked him in the 20s. So
I think 25th.
If he does become an all-star, we won the draft because of that.
True.
the same thing
But
with
do
like
you
Maxey.
but do you think Tyrese Maxey? Oh, you see, you just
Yeah,
said it. Do you think
I
Tyrese
said
Maxey would be an all-star?
exactly. So if he
You
does
think
become,
so?
if he does,
Ah,
I can see it
yeah.
going forward. Like he's young. Like think about like 3 years from now, he could definitely make an All Star team if he keeps shooting like that. So if he
Yeah.
does, if he was picked like in the 20s, then that's an awesome pick. Like those, technically they're not supposed to be like the All Star picks.
I mean,
That's why,
Harden will have to go, and it would just probably him and Embiid or somebody else to really like
right.
be the all-stars on that team.
I think if you gave Maxi the keys and still had Embiid on the floor, obviously, and they people can't key on him because of Embiid, I think he could definitely like maybe not next year, but going forward, I think he'd be scary in on the East. Like he'd
Well,
be a problem.
remember, he was the starting point guard before they got Harden.
Mm-hmm.
He was the starting point guard. Shout
Yep.
out to Ron. Sharp might drop to 11. Do the Knicks take the chance? I would.
He has star
What you got to
potential.
lose?
He has star potential. So like if we well if what if
Take a swing.
Jalen Duran's on the board, who you drafted? Right.
Did the Knicks work out Sharp?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure. I
And I
don't
don't
even.
mean
Now, who are the Knicks working out this week? I know they're supposed to work some people out this week. Anything? I
I
know,
hope it's a center. They haven't worked out any centers.
right? I
no,
know they
that's why I
said.
think we're picking
Um,
one though.
I know they said
Yeah.
that they hadn't the Knicks aren't letting out who the players are until like that day when they call the media in.
It's smart
Yeah,
though.
that's what I heard too. That's what I heard too.
We gotta think about who the front office is now. Nothing is getting leaked like that for a reason. Like they're way more tight-lipped than the last regime was. So anything that's why we're always
Tight-lipped is an understatement.
right.
That's
So that's why
crazy.
we're always surprised. That's why we're always surprised at the moves because we don't never know what they're gonna do.
Right.
You know what? Now, this is where the Knicks is going to piss me off. Where there's a few prospects that we've all been talking about on these shows
And they don't want none
that
of
are
them.
there at 11, and they don't pick neither one of them.
And they're gonna mess around and pick like Usman Dang. I don't know if y'all know him.
Yeah,
Like he like the
I've been
dude from
following
like
him as
New
well.
Zealand.
Yeah,
He a good prospect too, but that's one person that
he's
nobody
raw.
talks about.
Right. Yeah,
So
I think he's a few years away. No.
so yeah, but we don't like picking at 11 and the type of roster we have. Somebody that's a few years away is almost perfect, depending on what they think of this roster.
But Joel, let me ask you this: how much confidence do we have in Brock Oliver? Because he's gonna have a say in these draft picks also too.
I don't have a lot of
Right?
confidence that the Knicks are going to pick at 11. I think the Knicks are going to trade
Right.
down. That's just something that they've been.
I mean, to answer your question, I guess I have confidence in him because I think we've drafted well since he's gotten here. So as long as they keep doing what they're doing, I can't just assume that they're going to have a bad pick this year. Like
Let's
regardless of what
see.
they do, I'm guessing it's going to be the right move, except for not.
All right. We traded back for Grimes. If one of them guys ahead of Grimes pop and become a star, we're going to be like, oh, man, that's another one. We had an opportunity. They was right there, and we traded back.
Right. I think that's just PSD, though. That don't really happen to us often.
What?
That happen to us often. I think we just
I mean, not superstars, but think about where our roster would be right now.
Right.
With Booker, Mikal Bridges, Shy.
Oh, you talk about I'm talking about recent though. I think the only recent I'm talking about more recent, like this regime, not the last one.
Okay.
So this regime, like the only draft that you would say maybe they didn't pick right was maybe the Obi and IQ draft because there's a couple players like I mentioned before, we could have had Tyrese Halliburton and Desmond Bane as our starting backcourt right now if we didn't pick OB and IQ. I guess it just depends on what players you like and how you view them going forward because it's almost too early to tell about stuff like that.
Yeah, it is too early to tell. But even in this draft, I mean, I was high on Johnson, Jalen Johnson out of, I wonder, was it Duke?
One of them Dookies.
Yeah,
Well, you
and
went to Atlanta, right? You went to Atlanta.
at 20.
G League.
I was
Duke.
all
He
right.
didn't even get no burn. He didn't even get no burn.
I wanted James Booknight was my son last year.
He was in the G League too, but I think
He
it has a lot.
didn't get no burn either.
But that doesn't mean in a few
Going
years
forward,
though
though,
that they won't be.
him and Melo as the backcourt is going to be crazy.
And that other point guard, that other short point guard that we've been talking about in that other, I forgot his name, man.
Who he went to?
Cole Anthony?
No, I think he went to Atlanta also too.
Sharif
Cooper.
Yes, Sharif Cooper.
Yeah, he didn't know.
G League too.
I didn't think he was going to get any burn anyway, though, to be honest. But not in Atlanta. If he would have got drafted somewhere else, he might have. But yeah, G League too. Like a lot of these players are in the G League now. And Booknight, you couldn't tell me that he shouldn't have got no burn last year.
But where though? That's the things. They had the and that's why I'm saying everybody's getting on the Knicks for not playing. I'm like, these were higher picks than the Knicks had in the G League.
Their coach got fired though.
All right, but I don't think it was because of that though. I don't think it was because of that.
I was just playing. You're right.
They bringing in Kenny Atkinson, so let's see what he could do.
Man, Kenny Atkinson with that backcourt, we're gonna have a problem, man. I'm telling you, man. We need to go get Ivey.
Yeah, because when you develop Kyrie LeBron and what's his name, right? He played for Minnesota right now. I always forget his name. The point guard over there.
D'Angelo Russell?
Yeah, Russell. Yeah, he developed him and Levert in that year where they went to the playoffs. So imagine what he going to do in Charlotte with LaMelo and whoever is the guard.
He still got Melo. They got Booknight. They still got Bridges. I think he, if he resigns there, I think he's a free agent, right?
Who's
that? But they all Miles Bridges.
Miles Bridges.
Isn't he a free agent?
He's a free agent.
No, they're gonna give him the max. I don't think Jordan gonna just let him go like that, bro.
The max?
I don't know about the max, but
I mean not the max, but they're gonna give him a decent contract.
But think of this though. They got Kenny Atkinson and all that, right? They still got 13 and 15. So even if they have 13 and 15 this year, that's definitely enough capital to move up if they wanted to.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're gonna move though. I think they're gonna draft a center.
But if you drafted 13 and 15, unless you want one of them centers to hopefully, drop to you, they have enough capital, I'm saying, to go get Jalen Duren in the top 10 if they wanted to.
Right, because here's a factor why I'm saying that too. Your boy just got arrested for felony charges for marijuana. So he's gone.
So
he's gone. Plumlee, he's not really a typical center. And then you got the what's the other kid?
He's a power. Washington, PJ Washington.
Washington, right? So
imagine if they do get Jalen Duren, Melo's still gonna have him. In a pick and roll situation. So yeah, it's good. Charlotte's gonna be a problem going forward. We need to go get Ivey. Like we need a star guard that can. Not saying that he's gonna, match play for play with Melo.
No, but we need somebody to change the dynamic of the team, Gerald.
He changed it like Ivey completely. He's the only person, not the only person, but he's the only guard that changes everything. On this
Him or Jabari. I'll take I'm high on Jabari too.
I like Jabari too. And you gotta, again, like we talked about, Jabari working on his handle and Jabari in the mid range. Because a lot of times when we look at guys, we think of them like right now, this is the finished product. It's not. He knows what people are saying about him. I saw a clip of I think it was the other day, him working on his ball handling and his mid range shot. You got a guy like that, now he can get to his spots.
And a lot of people forget how young he is too. He only 19.
Yeah.
All of these kids are young, man. Like, so all the holes that they have, like Paolo from Duke, that's one Dookie that I think he's going to be a problem
Right.
with his
But you
handle.
if you look at the league too, everybody, the league is getting more younger and younger. And then here the thing about it: once you turn 25, 26, you old. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the league is getting more younger and younger as we go by, and then after the next year we get you bringing in high school students.
Right.
Right. But I wouldn't say 25 and 26 is old, but by that time your game should be pretty developed.
Right.
If you came in at 19. You know what I mean? I think your game should
Right.
be pretty
I get
developed
what
at
you're
that
saying.
point.
I get what you're saying.
But
If you're 24 and 25 and you still got things to work on,
like, you can still have things to work on, but they can't be so glaring that you could
Right.
tell you haven't worked on them at all in the 4 or 5 years that you was in the league. But then we'll start, that's like talking about Mitch all over again.
Yeah, Mitch is definitely a project. He turned out pretty okay.
Ivey and RJ is my backcourt. That's what I want. Everything else can fall into place after that.
I would like that too. Trust me, I would like that too.
Well, we
That's
would
what I'm
need a
saying.
playmaking wing.
All this big talk with William Wesley, and you know what I'm saying, like he want
Right,
this and
right,
he want that.
exactly.
He better do something. Yo, I'm serious,
It's
man.
true. It's true.
We bringing you in with all this credibility and giving you all this money. You better make something happen, bro. And you're on the chopping block. I'm serious.
I think
Y'all
it's the
talking about
entire front
pitchforks the
office.
other day for. We was talking about pitchforks the other day for what's the name of the coach again, man? For Phil Jackson. We gonna have pitchforks for William Wesley out there in Madison Square Garden too if he don't get this right.
Right.
But I don't think it's just William Wesley. I think he is part of it though, and I think that was part of what they sold Dolan. That these relationships and things like that is going to help them build the team a little faster, and it hasn't happened.
But not just Dolan. They said his name because they know fans know who he is.
Right.
Then nobody know who Leon Rose was. Like, as just like a everyday fan.
Right.
People don't know.
People know who Leon Rose. He was a super agent.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't know the names of these super agents like that. Not like casual fans. Like, they're casual fans that know William Wesley's name, especially in the New York area. Just like they tried to sell us the Steve Stout stuff. Like, we were supposed to care. Steve Stout is,
that was just a waste of time, bro. Waste of publicity, waste of time, waste of everything.
Is he still affiliated with the Knicks?
I think
I don't hear anything about him.
Don't hear nothing about him. Then he
goes. But I think he's on the marketing side, if I'm not mistaken. Right. But we don't need to hear nothing about him, man.
Yeah, but the fact that they tried to sell that to us, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's a name that everybody knows, especially in our area. Everybody know who have heard of Steve Stout, whether you know exactly what he does or not. The fact that they sold us on that is the same reason they sold us on William Wesley.
Right.
Because the people who know who he is, he's a name.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But it hasn't,
Look here, James. I'm telling you, man. Listen, they don't make it happen, man. I'm telling you, bro. You got to go, bro.
Look here, James.
I think each front office gets on average about 4 years for the Knicks.
Yeah, about something like that.
Oh, we put it, but yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think if not this year, next year, I mean,
could be doing it all over again.
Yeah, man. Dolan gonna be pulling out his head.
Because it's going to be all of them going and Tibbs going after next year. Could be.
And I'm with Sim too. That's where we go get you, Jerry, or Sam Presti, like Queen said too.
Yeah.
Both of them, either one.
We had to trade every bridge in New York for Sam Presti too.
Okay.
You said everyone through the Harlem Tunnel.
In order for us to get either one of them, I don't even know what they'll ask for, and that's if they'll do it.
Right.
Like, they're not going to do that. Like, why would they do that? Like, they would not give up.
But New York City is not OKC now. So that might be an allure, maybe.
Right.
But
JPP. Go ahead, Queen. Sorry.
But what's his name? What's his name? Jerry? I'm not
Yeah.
leaving Toronto for the Knicks.
Nope. And the way I built my team in OKC so far, I wouldn't leave OKC for the Knicks either. Not the way that he has them positioned already. I think he'd be a fool to leave them now.
I think Jerry got shares in Toronto also too. So I don't think he gonna leave either. Unless we throwing him a boatload of money and a big yacht and a private jet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We had to give him like stuff that don't even exist, like Marvel Tower.
Exactly, like something that he don't have.
We had to give him like where Doctor Strange do magic at, man. Like they're not going to give him like.
Well, it depends. If his contract, got to wait and see when his contract is up, and that's when you make your move.
No, didn't he just sign it? He just signed one, I think.
He just signed back again. Yeah,
with him, he ain't going nowhere. Not no time soon.
But back to JPP NYC. The closest I've seen the Knicks to a championship was in '95 against Houston.
Right.
It's been another 15 years since I ain't even see them smell the Eastern Conference. You talking about being patient, bro? Patient? I asked the panel last night, will we ever see a championship in our years? How close are we to JPP or J, whatever your name is? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you talking about patience? My patience is running out, bro.
Said, look here, James.
Right.
He ain't even on camera, but you pointed at the screen and everything when you said that.
Right.
It's just rough as a Knicks fan, bro. We seen other teams come in and flourish and get to certain places, and we can't get there. It's frustrating, man. Patience.
I think there's a little curse on the Knicks. I swear.
Because it's not even about
going on.
It's not even about winning the chip. We ain't been close.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Twice in my lifetime, and I'm old. We was close.
That's twice. What I'm saying, Jarrell.
And one of them was a fluke. It was the lockout season. So as a real season, it's only been one season where we were close to winning the championship. And John Starks, what happened in Game 7. So other than that, in my whole lifetime, that was the only real shot that we had a team that was good enough to win the championship. Jordan hadn't played baseball. It was our time to win that year.
You know what I mean? Olajuwon came and took both of them that year.
JJ, we are years away right now, but don't estimate how quickly a team can turn around. I've seen it done in one off season. A team go from, the Nets did it, from being a first round playoff exit to being championship contenders. Now they have to finish the deal, but I've seen a team change quickly. So it can happen if you have the assets and you make good moves and you have a little bit of luck where a player becomes available at a time when you have the assets to get that player.
Right.
We shall see.
Somebody he asked JJP NYC as what has Sam Presti won? He's won more than the Knicks by himself since he's been in the league. That's all that matters. Like, it's not about just if we're just gonna get GMs that won championships. It ain't that many of those. I don't know if you notice, it's the same teams winning championships almost every year. So we have to get somebody that's capable enough to win a championship. Like, we're not going to get the GM from Golden State. We're not going to get the Popovich from the Spurs.
Oh my God.
We have to get somebody else that can compete with them. So until we find that person, we'll be in limbo just like every other team is.
Exactly.
JJP, New York City, I appreciate you. First time seeing you in the chat. Thank you for rocking with us. I don't like losing, but we've had moderate success in the grand scheme of. What's the grand scheme? If you're going back to the 70s,
right? So if you say moderate success, right? So if you can't say what has Sam Presti won, but we had moderate success, but all the draft picks that he had Russell Westbrook, KD, like those people count too. Like he went to the final.
Yeah.
And even after them, when he had the wherewithal to get Chris Paul there, he still, after KD left, still went to the playoffs like 2 or 3 years in the
Yeah,
West.
you're right.
So just by
Exactly.
that alone, by what he did in OKC from when KD left, he's been better than any GM we've had in the past 20 years. Because
Facts.
he
I think
consistently
Presti
go
did
to the
draft KD.
playoffs.
Right.
Well, he did. He did.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think we've had moderate
Oh,
success.
Presti drafted who?
He didn't draft them. KD and
Well, KD
And
was
Harden and
Seattle.
Russell.
Harden.
KD
and-
was in
I
Seattle.
got to see when he
Right.
actually
Seattle.
started.
Right. KD was in Seattle. But But remember,
Yeah, was he
Seattle
there though?
moved.
Seattle turned into
I
OKC.
don't know if he was there. So
Right, but I don't know if Presti was there
But
or
if he didn't draft KD, he definitely draft Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Ibaka,
SGA.
Yep, and he got the pieces there to complement them to make runs like that. So yeah, he's just a good GM that we can get. So if you're talking about what he won, you have to say, well, what has Leon Rose has? He's won more than him.
Right.
Yo, showing them. Don't be coming at my queen, yo. Exactly. Get him. Get him.
No. Just saying.
Huh?
I'm not making disparaging comments, so don't get offended. It's all in good fun. I'm just calling you the height police because every time we say that there's somebody's height, you correct us and say that they're an inch or two shorter. So I'm not disparaging you, Sherwin. I appreciate your support. It's just all in good fun, right?
Sherwin, how tall are you?
Right. How tall are you, Sherwin?
I would like to just say that when y'all see me at the draft, I'm really 6'4", but I know Sherwin is definitely going to put me at 6'1.25".
Right.
And I'm gonna come in with no shoes on, with my socks. Yeah, but I'm just be playing with Sherwin, man. We just be joking on here.
Okay. Are you going to be at the draft party, Sherwin?
I hope we meet a lot of people there. Just to joke and kick it, like
because I'm 6 feet. Don't come back and say you met me and I was 5'8".
Yeah, you got. Yo, Stephanie, she acting like she tall. She ain't never played basketball. She only 5'9" with you.
Okay. So Sherwin, I'm not trying to be disparaging. I'm just having
He said he's 6'2", but what are you without shoes on, sir?
Right. Is that with or without shoes? And your wingspan, please, sir. Thank
yes.
I seen him.
You
seen him?
No, I'm joking.
Like you ain't 6'2", he only 5'11" and 3/4.
Right, Sherwin. Yeah, you about 6'1".
Yeah.
Right. I saw you in Target.
Getting towels that time. You ain't no 6'2".
Oh goodness!
I can't wait for the draft party, man. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be. It's definitely gonna be fun. Before we get out of here, let me just put that up one more time.
The second annual NBK draft party in Atlantic City. There'll be a live podcast, live DJ, live video shoot. $40 for a VIP ticket, $30 for draft night only. Get your tickets now.
Get your tickets now.
Yep.
Old head asked, are the tickets still available? Yes, there's tickets available.
Got mine. Got my little room. I'm psyched.
Can you drop the link, Sim? Do you have it? No.
I can put it in the private chat for you.
Okay.
For some
and
reason,
then I can put it in the
the link. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm up here looking at Sam Presti stuff. You know this man is only 44 years old. Like, y'all pissing me off. He's only 44 years old.
There you go. I just put it in the private chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, that's crazy, man.
I know.
You get it to come up as a link. Whenever I do something like that, it never comes up as a link.
For real?
Yeah, YouTube funny like that.
When I be trying to like put the link to my channel, whatever, it doesn't come up as a link. It just comes up as.
So in StreamYard or in YouTube? Because in StreamYard,
you like when I try to put it in a link. Oh well, it's the same thing. It didn't come up as a. Oh, actually, on this side it didn't, but over here it did.
Yes, because I know on StreamYard it doesn't come up as a link, but in YouTube it might.
Okay.
I'm gonna check on YouTube.
Let me put it in there a few times.
Sam Presti did draft KD.
Okay.
That was his first year, and that's when he traded. His first major move was trade. Remember, he traded Ray Allen for Jeff Green. That pick to get Jeff Green.
Oh.
Remember, they got KD and Jeff Green in that same draft. Like they both was top 5 picks. So that was his big move. He traded Ray Allen, got a top 5 pick. So he paired KD with Jeff Green. That was his first year.
And that's. I mean, they both from PG. That's his buddy. Like from. Long.
So it was strategic. Like that made sense. Jeff Green coming out of Georgetown. Yeah, that made sense. So that was a good move. And he was young then.
PG, that's in Maryland, right? That's in Hyattsville.
Yep. Well, Hyattsville is in PG, yeah. In P County, Prince George County.
Yeah. I'm familiar around that spot now. That's my little spot over there.
There's some basketball players in PG County, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Lanley Park.
Yeah. There's some ball players out there.
Yeah. I've been over there.
Any last words before we?
It's always fun.
You already know it's always been a pleasure, man. You know what I mean? Especially with showing them in the chat. It always is an entertaining show. Shout out to Jarrell, shout out to the Godfather, shout out to the chat. Special salute to my boy Freezy. I'm jealous that I can't go to the draft party, but y'all have a good time. Y'all go get y'all tickets if y'all could go, because it'll be a movie. So it's always a pleasure, Queen. Give thanks. Peace and love to everyone.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Every Tuesday, y'all know what it is. We here. Thanks for the invite again, Steph. Sim, you already know.
I appreciate you guys for coming through.
Staffer, it's always going to be a great show when we on, man.
Yeah.
Steph, I appreciate you. Jarrell, Staffer, everybody in the chat. We appreciate you guys, man.
And when we get off, I'm actually getting off too. I didn't know it was after.
Yeah. Because we get off. See, they don't know. We get off, and then it's the after party, and we behind the scenes talking for another hour or so.
We did that last night, I think.
We did that last night as well.
One time we was on this mug for like 1:30. Like it was crazy. I had to work. Like I had to get up or something. Like that was nuts. I remember in the morning, I was like, what the hell? Like they're talking about the Knicks.
I think we watched the whole game, the whole rest of the game.
Yeah, we did.
We watched the whole rest of the game last night.
We talked a little bit.
Even
afterwards. Yeah, definitely. It's just a lot of fun talking Knicks. Appreciate you guys, Sim. You already know if it wasn't for you, this wouldn't even be possible. Forever grateful. Staffer, Jarrell, everybody out in the chat. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so.
Please
I definitely want to do some. We'll talk about it. Some more sport and society type stuff.
Oh yeah,
definitely want to. I kind of got that flavor when we was talking about the media the other day on Knicks and Bruises and a little bit on MBK. That's a little bit of the flavor of something that I would like to do. So
for sure.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Talk about some sports therapy stuff for Randall too.
I mean, I do want to talk about mental health. I'm just trying to figure out the different angles to talk about it, but I definitely do want to talk about it. And if we feel the fans have anything to do with the players, not have anything to do with it, but can impact.
No, but it's mental health been a topic in the last 3 to 4 years now. It's been a heavy situation with that, so that would be an excellent conversation to
have. Yeah, definitely. I definitely want to do like once a month.
Yeah, I could definitely talk about stuff like that. That's
at least once a month.
Yeah.
All right, family, we are out of here.
Peace and love,
guys. See you next week.
All right, peace.